Hello everyone, welcome back. Largo podcast on the couch this time, joined by Finley, and we've got someone else over in the corner. Who have we got, Finley?
We've got a little special guest here.
He's little, he's
special.
fucking 6'1".
He's about 6.
I'm little and special.
He's 6'7". He's
We
just
make our guests feel so warm and welcome here.
He's 6'7". He's just come back from Margaret River. He's got a baby at home crying right now.
Yeah.
His wife's divorced him.
Yeah.
Connor O'Leary, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks
Welcome.
for having us.
Thanks for coming on.
You know, I've been sitting here for about 3 hours, and this is it's nice to get this thing kicking off.
For a bit of context to anyone out there, we kicked this off at 5 p.m. It is now 6:22. 1 hour and 15 minutes of me and Finley trying to figure out a microphone. So we're pretty smart. We're pretty good. We're definitely no professionals. So
That's all right.
That's all right.
My wife goes, how long do you reckon this will take? And I was like, probably like, I don't know, hour and a half or something. You know,
Oh no!
probably won't be that long.
So your phone's about to light up with a, with a
No,
phone
it's
call.
all right. Finley's got we got Maya, Finley's girlfriend there.
Yeah, she's
with the bub.
helping do the
She's
new
helping.
midwife,
Yeah.
looking after the bub, so it's all good.
We're sorted. We can be here till tomorrow.
Let's do it then. First of all, I'm excited because no one probably knows this for our listeners. We are the trio of dips that was almost going to be. We were going to be, 3 people running this thing, but then Connor had to leave.
I know. Fuck.
And to any governing bodies out there as well, he is a guest. This isn't a
This
is a guest appearance. I don't know how many times you'll allow this to happen, but it's happened once, so he's a guest. Thank you.
Yeah. So what happened was us 3 sat down. We were going to be the Largo podcast together, and we would have had a has been, a never been, and a been, and a still been,
A current,
a current. So it would have been been a perfect dynamic. Although WSL didn't like that plan.
That's okay.
At all. So we're allowed to have Connor on here as a guest. But then I even said to you, if I book the Hilton Resort for 365 days in a year, am I a guest for a year?
Yeah, you are.
But yeah, we thought best not to get Connor in a bit of trouble here. So he's a guest, but we finally got him to park his freckle on the couch and have a yarn with us.
Once it's all done, dusted, I'll come in and
Absolutely.
come and yarn a bit
You
more.
could be like our weatherman correspondent in the events.
I can. Insider trading, huh?
Yeah,
100%.
Inside scoops.
You can, the inside secrets that we all need.
Yeah.
But no, it's finally happened. We've been saying we've been going to do this for fucking months. Yeah. And everyone's just busy, and obviously you're busy, Connor. So thank you very much for coming along and sitting on the couch.
Thank you, sir. Now, like we touched on before, you've just flown back in the last sort of week or so from Margaret River.
Yeah.
Pretty good event in all for you. We'll get into the heat that eventually saw you leave the event. But like I say, quarterfinals, it's another sort of string to your bow for your year of results so far. You're sitting in at 14th right now currently. I had a look before, so that's actually true. You're poised for your top 10 finish. Yeah. We're getting there. But what's been happening with you since you got home? Obviously, new baby just arrived. What have you been doing?
Yeah, got a new baby introduced into the world, Romy.
Yep.
She's 5 weeks on Tuesday. So yeah, it's been hectic the last couple months. Juggling career, personal life, new life, and everything in between. So it's been hectic, but it's all been positive, and it's a whirlwind, but it's just life, and it's all exciting.
Absolutely.
There's no playbook that you can just open up, and just go.
I wish you could just really open a book and go, "This is how you do it," and it's
day 52. Do this.
Yeah. Just wake up, do this, and you'll be successful. But no,
you should start one.
Throwing it, no, because I don't think it's possible because everyone is so different.
Yeah,
because podcasts start an hour and a half late.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It starts at 5, but I'll come at 6:30 because that's when it's actually starting.
Like I said off air, we are offering chicken dinner after. I know we're not paying you to be here, but we're giving you something So hopefully you'll find this worth your while. You definitely won't. But anyway.
No, it's good. It's good hanging with you guys anyway.
Yeah, we love it. So you obviously don't have you back very often. You're always away. So it's
I know.
good
I'm off to Cali on Thursday, and
there you go.
yeah, it all kicks off
Just
again.
we just managed to fit you in your busy
Yeah.
schedule.
Yep.
We've really taken the piss with the time slot that you've given us, but that's all good.
No,
We're going.
It's great.
Are you ready for the US dollar? Are you ready to get fingered by Trump?
It's actually pretty good for us because going there sucks, but we get paid in US, so it's actually pretty good.
Yes.
So I guess it makes up for it. And we only go to America for like 2 weeks, so hopefully I don't get reamed too hard. But man, that US dollar is hectic, and you got fisted fully.
I did.
Not long ago.
And I'm home and I feel like I'm still getting fisted. It's like the money's only just coming out now. It's getting worse. But it's for my wage, yeah, it's hard.
I think for anyone's wage, it's a joke. You know?
Yeah, well, it's pretty much half.
Double.
Half of what you're trying to buy is going to somewhere else. Anyway, we thought, we'd get you here. You're here. So that in itself is a great feat. So I'm stoked this is actually happening.
Not like I live too far away from you guys anyway.
Yeah, you're honestly a stone's throw, but anyway. Should we get into it? Ask some questions.
Yeah, go.
Hit me.
Righto. So you're born in Cronulla, 1993. Fuck, that sounds like a long time ago. What's it like growing up in Cronulla, and how did surfing become your passion? Why not like another sport? I'm sure did you have mates that were like full footy heads or some shit?
I was really into soccer when I was a kid. It was funny, I guess, because your hobbies stem from your parents.
Yep.
When you're young, and mum, being a ex-professional surfer, and dad loving surfing for just the pure passion of, and the hobby of it. They just kind of, for them, it was like they wanted to go on surf trips on the weekend, and I was just a part of their program.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like, we're going surfing and you're coming with us. It wasn't like it was forced, but it was more like they're going to do it and you're going to be there.
It's a way of life.
Like it or not, this is it. And, I started kind of liking it from there. Started from bodyboard, and then worked my way up.
You started on the boog.
Started on a boog, yeah.
Holy fuck, let's stop this podcast now.
No, started on a boog.
Oh, mate, up there is the door. Thanks, everyone, and we're all done.
Growing up in Cronulla, being a boog is mental. All the slabs and
yes,
at home,
right. You got the island, so that
Yeah.
makes sense. Yep.
So I had a few friends that were boogers and kind of did that for a little bit, and then kind of got bored of it. And then, went from dad's board, got my own board, and then kind of went from there.
Gotcha.
But, to be honest, as a kid, I loved playing soccer more than surfing.
Mm-hmm.
I just think, team sports is something that I was so addicted to when I was a kid, and the independent sport was something that I felt like it was just for me, because I wasn't an overly confident kid.
Mm-hmm.
I lent towards having teammates to bring that. It was kind of like more of a responsibility on myself to try hard for them as well as myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I really loved that team aspect, and I feel like it was either soccer or surfing. And I don't know, I guess as I got older, I started getting more friends that surfed and started really enjoying the lifestyle of it. And I was fortunate to grow up near the beach, and to be able to just come back from school, meet a few mates at the beach, go for a surf, finish, and then do it that way instead of going to soccer practice and doing that scheduled deal. Just kind of led me to go towards surfing naturally, and here I am.
It's funny that you liked the team sports because you liked that team environment, and then you've ended up possibly in the most selfish sport going. It's couldn't be two.
I know. I went from because I loved playing soccer, and then I got super into Oz tag. So I was playing soccer in the winter and then playing summer Oz tag.
Yeah.
So I was kind of doing that, and then the surfing was just kind of like a side thing. And it's just funny how your friend group just changes towards a certain way, and that my friend group started all surfing, and that's how it kind of led me to going into that surfing path, and grew from there.
What age was that change, would you say?
Probably I'm going to say 14, 15.
So late.
Pretty late, yeah. Yeah, I didn't really start competing until, to be honest, I was shit at surfing until No, I swear to God. And it's so frustrating because I tell people this and they don't believe me because they're like, oh, yeah, fuck, sure. You've been on the CT. You know, like you would have been one of them golden child kids that were meant to be a pro surfer. And I was so shit until I was about 23, I reckon. 20. Yeah. Swear.
Okay, I was in my head ready for the answer of like 14.
No. I reckon
23.
Dead set. I reckon when I started feeling out at about 20, that's when I feel like I started getting a lot better.
So you got pubes at 20.
No, I got pubes at about 18, 17. I reckon I was pretty late.
That's so random.
Yeah.
It sounds like me, but I'm blonde, so that's fine.
It's the Asian
What's
genes.
your story?
It's the Asian genes. We get puberty real
right,
late.
yeah,
Yeah,
fair
but
enough.
it hit you like a brick, mate. You're like literally like 6'3" now.
I know. Like it's funny. I look back at like photos of me on a surfboard when I was like 16, and I'm like this lanky. Like people used to call me the sniper's nightmare. I remember Andy King used to call me the sniper's nightmare when I was a kid because, as you know, if I was sideways, you wouldn't be able to see me. That's how skinny I was.
Slender man.
But now all of a sudden, I've filled out and huge, on the verge of being too big.
Well, that's kind of like a good sort of segue into like, I guess, letting the audience judge how accurate your reading of you being shit at surfing until you're 23. How was your junior career? Like, how did you go through, like, obviously under 16s onwards into like it would have been under 21s back then, right? For the pro junior circuit?
It was under 21s, yeah.
How did you go?
Shithouse. Really bad. Like, I was actually talking to Ryan Callanan about this when we were in WA because we were talking about Leo, because Leo's kind of been a part of our group this year, and he was kind of picking our brains and like, oh, when did you guys start becoming real close friends? Leo was saying that to me and Ryan.
Yeah.
And we started saying like, oh, only from the last couple of years because I started working with Dog. But we've known each other since we were kids. And like when I was a kid, Ryan Callanan was the pinnacle of our age group.
He was the guy, right?
He was the guy. Like,
yeah.
You had guys like, but my age group was like really star-studded. Like the lineup was a joke. Yeah. Like you had Ryan, you had Matt Banting, Wade Carmichael, like Dean Bowen, Garrett Parks, like Davey Castles, all that
wow.
All that era was the same age as me. So like I didn't win anything.
Yeah, well, that kind of makes sense then with the caliber of people that you're versing.
Nothing. Like I'd make it like a few quarters. I'd make a final every now and then, but I lost so much. And my junior career was like pretty woeful.
Okay.
Like the last year of my junior, like the age group, I missed out of the World Juniors by like a couple spots.
Right.
But so I had no real accolades that led me to go, oh, I'm going to qualify one day.
Yeah, okay, true.
Like, there was people that were kind of like, are you thinking about backup plans? Are you going to uni? Like shit like that.
Yeah, right.
That are like, because they didn't see any potential in me because my results didn't show that I had any, like
talent,
progression.
Essentially. Yeah, for sure. So like what was like the pivotal moment that basically you went, I can have a crack at this. Like this is something that I can pursue.
It was about, it was probably around my 20s.
Right.
When I just started kind of putting it on a bit more muscle, I started training a little bit. And just kind of getting a little bit bigger. Because I feel like that's when you're that young, you're not putting on any muscles. So, you go into the QS, and because the junior series back then was 21, and then as soon as you're 21, it's like, holy shit, I'm versing guys that are like 35, that are like 90 kilos and like 6'3".
Yeah.
How the fuck am I going to beat one of these guys at Brazil or anywhere? Anywhere.
Yeah.
But it was funny when I transitioned into the QS, it was the first time that they started doing 4-man priority.
Right. Yeah, sure. Okay.
So if that wasn't in the picture,
Fuck, you are old.
I would have been fucked.
You reckon that helped you? That you would
for sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I am old. I'm fucking real old. But yeah, they went, all right, we're going to start doing 4-man priority. And they implemented it like the first year that I started really doing the QS. But it was more like for me, I'm super fortunate to have parents that were super supportive in going like, we'd love to help you have a crack. at the start and see where you go.
Yep.
But be mindful of, working whenever you're at home. So I was working at a surf school at home whenever I was back, just to get a bit of coin, and working at a surf shop and doing that in between, doing events and training and surfing and stuff.
That's right.
All in all. So it's funny. It just I started, it wasn't great. And then, the next year I was just kind of constantly trying to get better at surfing and focusing on getting better at surfing.
Yeah.
And then filling out, and then it all kind of just clicked at about 21, 22.
True.
So yeah, I was a super late bloomer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I said, it's so frustrating because I say that to people and they go, "Fuck off." You would have been 6'2" at 18.
Yeah.
80 kilos. I'm like, no, I was so bad. You would have been winning everything. It's like, no.
They said that about Coyote as well. Apparently he was really bad until way later on.
Yeah.
I think, even maybe didn't even start surfing until his teens. So.
I think he started surfing real late.
Yeah. So there you go.
I think it's refreshing to hear, because you only really hear of stories of the prodigies coming through, like an Ethan Ewing, just fucking sent me packing, our age group packing, and then straight on the QS for a year, 2 years max, straight onto the fucking CT, and it's been in the top 5 pretty much ever since.
Yeah,
so it's refreshing to hear the opposite.
But he fell off the first year. Yeah. You know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So he kind of went through a bit of adversity, which is cool. But I look at guys when I was younger, I look at Matt Banting, for example. He was he's going to win a world title one day. Yeah. And then him back then comparing to me, it was like night and day. Yep. This guy's done.
Yeah.
Kind of, he's not going to make the tour. There's no way. Kind of thing. Just because the talent was so different. And then it's just super satisfying to be able to say that hard work only gets you to the front door. I mean, talent only gets you to the front door.
Yeah.
But
doesn't get you into the party.
Doesn't get you into the party. Yeah, exactly. So it's the truth, that phrase.
Yeah.
I think that's probably so fucking good to hear for some grommy out there that is probably getting semi-rinsed at events. And I saw it so often when I was doing it too. There's people I can name that, and we've had previous episodes, Finley, where we've spoken about some, Jack Jermaine. You probably remember Jack Jermaine, Kai Hing, and they all still rip, but they're just obviously not on the CT or doing it, events or whatnot. It's funny, at the time, and if anyone's listening in that age group, what you think is going to be the best right now is probably a 1 in 10 chance. There will be 1 in 10 that will do it, but the 9 out of 10, then probably not.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it, all the guys that are coming through now that are unbelievable. You look at Carl Robson, Morgan, Siblick, Jacob, Liam O'Brien, all those guys are all stemming from that. They didn't have that much talent and that
100%
much limelight when they were in the juniors, but their hard work and dedication towards their game has led them to being where they are now.
I think
and now they're one of the best.
Cal is the poster fucking child for that.
He came out of literally nowhere. He came and did a couple Lee bars, and I didn't think he won Lee bar when he came and did it. And then he just seemed to vanish. And this would have been when he was sort of maybe early teens, 12, 13. And just didn't see him again. And then next thing, he's winning pro juniors. And it's how did that happen within the space of maybe 2 years?
I think it's just I look at from how I did it, and it even me now looking back, I go if I told my 20-year-old self that, I'd still have a career in surfing now, being on tour for more than, a couple of years or whatever, I would have told that kid you're dreaming. That's not happening. But it's I was so passionate and addicted to getting better at it.
Yeah.
And I think because I wasn't so good, I had so much room to improve. So I could see the little nuances were making a big difference in my surfing. So I was so addicted to that part of it and not addicted to the results. And I wasn't fixated on, because I was doing bad, that makes me a bad surfer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You want to be peaking at the QS. You don't want to be peaking at cadets, the junior series. That is all just a stepping stone to get you experienced, so then you can peak into the QS, and that's when you want to go. That's where you want to be at your best to qualify for the CT. And then there's another level after that. But it's so funny how when you're a kid, you get so fixated on if I'm not doing well in these contests, I will never have a career in it.
Yeah.
But it's just not true.
Yeah.
So it's,
Well, I can attest to that. I peaked at the Wahoo Grom Comp. I've got about 16 boxes of trophies from like
you were that kid.
10 to 15. I fucking pretty much was going to make the tour, and then 16 onwards, just like, who that guy?
Yeah, but I feel like you're actually that perfect like description of you had like the craziest natural talent. But I feel like you
didn't work hard.
This is not going to end well.
You couldn't wrap your head around the fact that you kept losing. You just hated losing so much that and like my wife, Steph, was the same. She had natural talent.
Yeah.
And if she kept going, I reckon if she got on the tour, she'd be like still there.
Yep.
But she couldn't wrap it, like you couldn't wrap your head around losing.
Yeah. Me and Steph, it's funny you say that. We are fucking identical in that sense.
Yeah.
Where like, it would be like 19 minutes, a 20-minute heat, 19 minutes is left. One person gets one wave and it's like a 6. You're like, fuck!
Yeah. Or they'd lose, they seriously like, they were bred from the same cloth. They'd lose a heat and they'd have an 8 and a 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, someone wins with 2 6s and you're like, how? Like, it's maybe it's a Lennox thing. I don't know.
Well, it's good to know that like if you're leading early, it's generally a bad thing because I still haven't peaked yet.
Mate,
potentially, but I've still
haven't peaked.
I've got big things coming.
You do.
Keep at it.
We'll move on though to kind of getting into your sort of early cracking it, like first year. I think 2015, you narrowly missed out on qualification.
Yep.
I think you're a victim of the floater of doom from Gabby Medina. Is that correct? At Sunset.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So you need to only make a couple of heats in that event, right? And
yeah, it was a weird one. It was the first year that I made the like primes.
Yeah.
So like so back then it was like they were rated between like 1, 2000s, 3000s, 6000s, and then the 10s.
Yeah.
But you had to do all the 6000s to be able to crack the 100 to make the prime. They'll call the primes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was the first year that I made the primes. I just all of a sudden just started like stringing a few nights. I had like 6 or 7 nights. And then I went into, they had 2 events in Brazil and I got a second in a 6,000. Mm-hmm. And then the last 2 events was Haleiwa and Sunset.
Right.
So I was going into Haleiwa and Sunset. Never been there. I've been to Hawaii, but never like competed there. Coming like 8th or 7th. Now I was going, holy shit. I'm not ready for the tour.
Yeah.
Like, I was kind of freaking out, but like going, oh, this is sick. Like, I'm fucking in the mix here. Like, this is like, I had like Dusty Payne, Connor Coffin, like they were like 10, 11, 12, like Jeremy Flores, all those guys underneath me.
Oh, wow.
And I was kind of going like, oh, I got a shot at this. And then just went to Hawaii and just got eaten alive by Hawaii.
It's not easy, is it?
Nah, it's not. It was humbling. It was really humbling. Like just, the powerful waves and just that dynamic of surfing a heat in those type of waves just got me, and I ended up going from 7th to like 12th or 13th. But like, I didn't take it as like, fuck, I didn't qualify. Like, I took it as like, man, that was for me an unbelievable year that I wouldn't have expected I would have had.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait for next year because I feel like I've got so much more to improve on. Let's go more. Like, set higher goals now because I nearly qualified, but I didn't. But fuck, that was my first real crack at it.
It's right there for the
so
taking.
Go again.
Yeah.
Do you think you almost had like imposter syndrome when you got to that almost the pointy end, like you weren't ready, like you didn't deserve to be at the kind of top end of the QS?
100%. Yeah, it was like I just was like, how did I get here, kind of thing, and I don't think I should be here yet. It's all kind of happening too fast. Like for me, I was doing so shit, and then all of a sudden I kind of hit 20 and all of a sudden went bang, like, oh fuck, I'm nearly qualifying. Because it kind of all sprung up to me real fast. But then I got shut down real fast, which is also, I look back at it and go, it was great for me and my progression in my career, because it kind of made me go, I have so much more to give and nearly qualified.
Yeah. Well,
so therefore, next year, let's give it a real crack.
And that you did. You picked up the pieces, and next year you win the QS. Is that right? You actually come first. Not many people on Earth experience this feeling of like yourself, you're coming through the juniors, you don't really believe in yourself that you're going to really get there. Or maybe you believe in yourself, but no one else believes in you. And then you actually achieve it. Like, what's the feeling like just coming in at the last event? Or I'm assuming you probably knew if you won the QS, you knew fairly early you were a good shout. Like, when it like was official, how's that feeling?
It was pretty cool. It was like, my goals set for that year was like, I can qualify now.
Yeah.
Because I nearly did last year. So therefore, like, it gave me a little bit of quiet confidence in myself. Like, I can do this and I can give it another crack. It might not work, but at least, last year really showed me that I can be in the mix and can be in the mix with all these top athletes. And then I went to Bolito and won. Mm-hmm. And then I went, holy fuck, it's not even about qualifying anymore. Let's try and win this
QS
whole series.
Yeah.
Like, I've got a crack at, I've got a shot at it now. I just won. Like, so yeah, there was a lot of belief that came in me, more so from the year before than that year itself. I think that stepped me into the right direction, which was sick.
And that Bolito event as well, like, kind of, was that pretty much your first major win?
Yeah.
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 You won in very impressive fashion. I went through the results last night. I went back through the draw. We went.
You had to dust it off, though.
We went deep.
I'm surprised they got him in the archives.
I had to look for him. I had to find him. Pretty unassuming through the early rounds. Like, you kind of putting together like 12-point heat totals pretty regularly, which in the early rounds of a QS generally is going to be enough to get you through a lot of the time. But then you hit the quarterfinals, and you're pretty much the definition of peaking at the right time in this event. You had Ethan Ewing in the quarters. You put up 15.5 points against him. Then you moved into the semis against Zeke Lau, 16.74. And then you went to the final with Johan Daru, and you smoked him 17.3. Like, bang, bang, bang. You improved.
I did all right. I didn't remember it.
You did good, man.
I was going to say, do you remember these things? Like,
I
obviously
remember
being an
final.
athlete for this long, like, do you actually like remember these things vividly, or do they just become a distant?
I remember the heat against Zeke, and I remember the heat against Johan. The heat against Zeke was funny. It was like, he's such an aggressive guy.
I don't believe you.
So and Bolito is one of them real funny lineups where, like, it's such a short little right point and there's like a set of rocks like in between. So if you wanted to get the inside, you could like paddle on the other side of the rocks, get the inside. And I just fully relieved it all. I just went, I'm just going to give him the inside and he can have the first, let's just get this thing going kind of thing. Cause the waves are pretty good. And I just started just riding waves, and then it got into his head and he started getting selective. So I was just taking waves off him that he was letting go, and I was kind of getting 6s, 7s, 8s, and then all of a sudden just putting the pressure on him, and it kind of was all over. So it was funny, like and that whole last day, I pretty much did that. I just went, I'm just going to not even fight for the inside. Like, let's just get this thing going and see how it goes. And it was all kind of like flowing together pretty well. I feel like that wave suited the backside pretty well, because you could kind of, it was short but it was steep, so you kind of fit a few more turns in compared to the frontsiders.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, it just all felt like it was flowing real naturally that whole day. It was pretty cool.
You just took it out.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden I won. I went, I don't even know what to do.
So you win that event, and then you win obviously the QS. Was there a bit of a juicy paycheck at the end? Did Quickie?
How does that work?
Quickie have to give you a couple zeros?
So fuck, I reckon they shit themselves, because I went.
They would have. Correct.
Like, when I was sponsored by Quicksilver, I was getting next to nothing.
They call that peanuts.
Yeah, absolute peanuts. Like, it was kind of like, for me, it was more, I didn't have much to barter, and so, like, I wasn't that type of person that was like, I deserve more money because I am Conor O'Leary. My whole perception of it was like, I will give you as much as I can in the base of results, and therefore they don't have any excuses to go, oh fuck, he's actually doing all right.
Yeah.
So I was getting like, fuck, what was I getting? The first year I nearly qualified, I was getting like 12 grand from Quickie.
Yeah.
And then they went, oh, you nearly qualified. We'll give you 20. So then I was on 20 grand. And then I won the QS and qualified. And they went, oh my God. So then that paycheck was pretty good going into the CT.
Yeah.
But before that, it was, Skittles. It was more like just me using that money to invest it in myself to try and qualify more than
And that
make
12 grand
anything.
gets dissolved quickly.
Oh my God, straight away. It was like, half the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then, with the QS, you split it with a bunch of people and split cars and a comm, so it makes it cheaper and no coach and stuff. So, but it was probably half. Maybe less.
Would have been the WSL back then? Do they you win the QS season? Do you get like a payout from them, or is it just like you get the
No, you just get a trophy.
you get the trophy and that's your sort of
But back then, the prize money was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like winning Bolito was like 40 grand US.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, now it's 20?
That's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty.
So it's pretty good, and 6,000s were like 25 grand. Like the paychecks were a lot better back in the day.
True.
Fuck, we need New York back.
I know.
That was insane.
Was that
300
Yeah.
300K.
US. 300 US. We'll get Owen on and we'll go, mate. How much is left of that 300 do you have?
I remember him telling me he got taxed crazy amounts.
Oh,
So do you get taxed by Australian standards? Because you're an Australian, like you have an ABN, right?
No, you get tax based on, you get foreign tax.
Oh, okay. So in the country that you
In the country that
get
you get it in, yeah. Yep, so it varies.
So Italo wins in Abu Dhabi, gets zilch.
Yeah, with no tax.
So everyone just wants to win that one.
Yeah, no tax, yeah.
Wow.
So then like for us in Australia, it's good. But yeah, US is a joke. It's like 35%
What about
or something.
athletes here? Well, I guess it would depend on where they're coming from. Do they hate Australia with their tax?
No, because they all have ABNs here.
Come again?
Yeah, they all get registered. They can all register an ABN. So they don't have to
Australian
pay-
business number.
Yeah,
Australian
I
business
know.
number.
It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know how they swindle it, but I guess WSL organised it for them.
I feel like the FBI are about to fucking kick down the door right now, and we're all going to get
The
fucking
feds,
M16 in the face. No, that's interesting.
But yeah, foreign tax.
Right.
there you go. So you learn something new every day.
I know.
Um,
I'm going to try and do that in their country. Get
Try
a
and
Swiss
qualify.
bank account. No, I've already peaked. Remember Wahoo Gromcom.
peaked.
When the Wahoos come back and you win a cricket set, I'll be there. So we move from you qualify. What's like the day you find out you qualify? Like, is it everything you expected? Like, or is it just kind of like another day, ready to go? Like, let's go. Or is it like, is that kind of a milestone where you stop and sniff the roses? Or
It was pretty scary.
yeah.
It was kind of like, it was pretty overwhelming, to be honest. It was like, holy shit, I'm on the tour now. I'm going to like Pipe and Chopes and like, all these crazy places with like, and I'm going to have to sit in the lineup with Kelly and Mick and Joel because they were all on the tour back then. Taj, like, I was just going, this is fucking crazy. How am I going to do this?
That's interesting to me as well. So for me, that'd be my biggest stress. But like, how far down the list of things is you going? All right, I'm qualified. I now have to go and surf 10-foot chopu. Is that pretty high up on your list of worries at that point?
Not really, because I grew up surfing a lot of slabs at home,
Right.
so it wasn't as scary as maybe some other people would see it when they do qualify.
Sure,
So
yeah.
I was pretty fortunate to surf a lot of scary waves growing up. So I was kind of like, they're not really my... Like, yeah, scary for sure, but it was more so because I've never been there and never surfed it more than like, holy fuck, it's a big wave, we kind of got to go.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
sure,
So,
sure.
it was more just, the people I had to compete against. That was the scariest part.
Yeah.
And for me, not being a very confident person, having to lean into that, like, okay, fuck, now I've got to sit next to Kelly Slater shoulder to shoulder and try and beat him. I've been looking up at this guy for my whole life. And all of a sudden now it's like, I've got to frame it to like, how am I going to beat this guy? It was pretty crazy.
And that's perfectly linked into you. So your first year on tour, 2017, you qualify.
Yep.
You go to Snapper and you have John Florence first heat. And
Yep.
he puts the cleaners through in your very first heat there.
Absolutely rinsed me.
Now,
there is something else we need to ask.
not only that.
I know what you're
Do
talking
you know?
about. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I don't know. Let's just say the question. So the question is that highly credible sources tell us that in the first few heats, you were so scared that you literally shat yourself.
So
Can you confirm or deny?
no, I'll confirm it. It's a fucking funny story.
Fantastic.
So I at the start of the year, I was kind of like, fuck, I probably need to look into like a bit of help, you know, like coaching and this and that, and
Shitting yourself in
not
the
shitting myself. So like,
We have medicine for that.
I employed Luke Egan to be a coach for the year.
Yeah.
You know, he's surf snapper a lot, and he was telling me, to get the inside, go paddle out at Froggies and drift down. So I paddled out at Froggies. It was kind of big and like Froggies is gnarly.
Not a place you want to paddle
No,
out.
I was kind of like,
Unless you have
I could
to.
easily bail and snap a board or snap a leg rope or something.
Yeah.
So I kind of went out a bit early. So I was sitting bobbing out there. I'm just kind of like fucking really nervous. Absolutely like petrified. I'm like, holy fuck, there's so many people on the beach. Yeah, like I'm against John and Mikey. Like Mikey was kind of like, he was kind of hitting his stride.
He was killing it at the
wild
time.
card and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I needed to shit so bad that I was like, I can't hold this in for 35 minutes. How am I supposed to perform needing to do a shit the whole time? Like, what if I shit myself during the heat or something? So I was kind of like looking around and I'm like, before I get swept completely around the corner, I'll just like drop my truck, because I just had boardies on. I was like, drop my boardies and just squeeze one out. Kind of going, I hope no one sees me doing this.
Rookie debut, first event. Welcome Connor O'Leary to the world, and then it's just camera 2 zoning in on you, just fucking doing a turd burger.
Fuck, if someone takes a photo of me, this is so fucked. But I've got to get this out.
You'd be so screwed now with all the drones they use. They just send that
I'd
thing
be
up.
completely fucked now. Social media's out the wazoo.
Did it float or sink? That's the question.
I think it floated.
That's way worse.
I don't think it floated with me though. I did
Great
like
fibre though. Well done.
The push off. But yeah, it was fucking pretty funny.
So before the heat, you didn't need to shit? Or just rapid onset?
No, rapid onset. Didn't need a shit, and then I was kind of like, oh my God, I need to get this out. But it didn't save me. It didn't fucking help me anyway, because I got about 2 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
is that why? Is it just
don't
you
know,
were
maybe I
like,
was too
camera
relaxed.
3 saw me do it. I'm walking into a crowd full of people just like staring at me.
No, I don't know. I just think I was so just overwhelmed of everything that I just started just overthinking it too much and was trying to pick waves that weren't never coming, and John was just taking off and getting eights, and I was just kind of letting them all go. And then I was kind of scrambling at the end, so it was pretty overwhelming. I was super rattled after it, just because I was
You
pretty,
shat yourself, then you get comboed.
yeah,
That's
I was
a
just
pretty
pretty,
bad day.
I was pretty embarrassed, like just with the performance that I had. You know, everyone was like, I had heaps of people from Cronulla come up. I had fans, like people cheering on me on the beach, and then to kind of like start off my rookie year like that was pretty embarrassing. I was pretty upset. Like I was like crying and shit. I was like, I'm a fucking loser. Like Steph's just going, fucking grow up. You got another chance. So no.
And you turn it around very quickly, might I add. You go into round 2 against Cronulla Igarashi, and you put up 15 points and you get your first excellent ride on tour straight away, which for most people, that doesn't come early on like that. Like a lot of people, it takes them a while to start accessing that higher range of the judging scale. So if you to kind of literally cheat yourself, then get the cleaners put through you by John, and then reset after that, come out and smack your second heat. There's a lot of credit there, and you end up turning this into a quarterfinals in your first ever event. Obviously going from like the contrast of your first heat shocker, then you end up in the quarters. At the end of that, you're like, all right, no, I can do this.
For sure, yeah. I mean, I went through every emotion you could possibly think of that heat. I went from my lowest low to the highest high. It was insane. But it's kind of like that heat really put everything into perspective, how like that's not how I want to compete and how I want to surf. So I took everything that I did that I didn't do in that first heat and did it in the second one. And that's what helped. Like,
and
so
it
you've
worked.
got to go through the bad shit to figure out what
You've got to
bad
stop
shit is.
shitting yourself, mate.
Well, I didn't shit myself in that next heat. So
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
There's your clear ticket to the final. Just fucking stop
I
shitting yourself.
did it before I even paddled out, so that
Too many Maconas beforehand.
it is too much coffee. No, it was good. Just you can go through. That's just surfing, right? You go through your ebbs and flows, and it's just more the person who comes away with it the best and deals with it the best is always the one that's going to come on top.
For sure.
So, yeah.
And you did that there. 3 poor results afterwards. You might not remember this. I just looked this up last night. So you had a couple of shockers.
He didn't look it up. He remembers.
I remember.
He's staring at a blank screen for everyone at home.
Rain Man. 3 poor results. Then you go on a strike mission with this man here.
I did.
To Fiji.
Yeah.
Now,
Man, that was a fun trip.
you later go on to make the final at Fiji.
Yeah.
How much credit are you giving that strikey before to that result?
Unbelievable amounts.
Yes, right.
Like,
It was fucking fun, wasn't it?
it was so good. Like, it was so sick to not only go for a strike mission, but go with, you know, your mates and have it as a training block for the event. You know, like, if I didn't go there before it, my whole perspective on the wave would have been different, I reckon.
Right.
You know, just learning what type of wave is good, what type of wave is bad, how to ride it. And we surfed it in every condition you could possibly think of within 3 days. You know, we had big and junky, we had small and clean, we had like perfect size, we had it all, eh? So it was cool to see it in all its faces, to then go back 2 weeks later with, you know, the knowledge of like how the boards felt, what type of wave I'm looking for, and have that confidence in like, fuck, this wave is one of the best waves in the world, and like be excited to go back instead of a bit more like tentative and nervous of like how, you know, how it's going to look.
Yeah, for
So-
sure.
It was an interesting dynamic. Yourself,
It was.
myself, Stuart Kennedy, Kihu Butler. Kihu was like 15.
Yeah,
And
true.
on the big day, it was probably 8 foot.
Yeah.
And Kihu was surfing, and we surfed for like 2 hours maybe, and he come in and he had 2 left fins in. So he had a left fin in the left side, a left fin in the middle, and then just a right fin on the right fin.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
It
In
was
10,
crazy.
8 to 10 foot waves, like big, windy, huge.
Was he getting a couple?
He was.
Yeah, right. There you go.
But it was sick because it was like, so they went, the girls event was first and then they did the guys.
Yeah, it was separate
So
waiting
it was
period.
separate waiting periods. So we went just before the girls event started. So when it was big, there was no one out. There was pretty much me and Zach and Kihu.
And the best
And-
part was, because the girls travel with like dad, coach, boyfriend, girlfriend, friend, nutritionist, exercise scientist,
Accountant.
accountant. So they
Lawyer.
booked out all the islands.
Yeah.
Right.
So there was no one there except for the girls. And let's be real, only about 3 or 4 of them were actually
Yeah.
keen to kick on a big one.
It was like Courtney Conlog and Tatiana. That were the only 2 people I remember kind of.
Oh, and Bethany Hamilton
And
called me 3 times.
Bethany Hamilton had something on with Zach. It was
She hates me,
hilarious.
bro.
Yeah,
Wait, it was so blatant. Glenn Micro Hall paddled up to her and said, "What are you doing? Like,
Yeah,
you've just
it
burnt
was-
Zach 3 times."
It was so funny.
And then she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." It was a weird thing. And then we had that footage. I'm taking off, like pulling up into it. She comes down, like I would call that like directly in the path. I'm going this way. She's like cut across in front, and we collide.
No way.
And I remember going, "Oh my god, I'm colliding with Bethany Hamilton." Like I just remember going, "This is not going to be good on my part." And I'm not even doing anything wrong. But then there was just this footage what Smacky got of me colliding with Bethany Hamilton, and I was like, "This is not good for
Do we
my
have that?
portfolio." We could.
Shan would have that for sure.
We
in
would
the
maybe have it
archive.
for
We
sure.
need that. That's iconic.
It's so funny.
You've clashed with an.
I just remember being underwater and we're like tangled, and I'm going, "Is she like drowning right now?"
Have I just,
was worried.
have I just killed sporting like on Bethany
Oh,
Hamilton?
No, you're dead right. I was like, even though I've done nothing wrong here,
Yeah.
I'm concerned about her safety right now. And like, obviously she was fine, but such an interesting trip and how that come about. But yeah, fuck, we scored, and
It was a sick trip.
I
man.
will
It-
take 10% credit of that.
Yeah, you should.
Well, I didn't even organise. I was just happened to be there, so I'll take 1% credit of that.
yeah.
So talk us through that event. So you get there. I think, is it Maddie Wilco eventually
Yep.
wins the
Yeah,
final?
yeah, yeah.
But obviously for you at this point, I'm guessing a final is like the best thing ever. Like,
Yeah.
it's a weird one because obviously you get there and you're like, I'm here now. Like, may as well win. But like,
Yeah.
if you tell yourself before that event, I'm going to walk away here with a second place, you'd snap your own hand off, wouldn't you? Like,
100%.
Yeah.
I would tell you, you're absolutely tripping.
yeah. So like, talk
Yeah.
us through just through the event. Like, you obviously don't have to go into specifics, but just sort of how you're feeling. Were you like surprised as you were progressing through heats, or?
It was funny, like because I was so, everything was so new to me. It was all so exciting and fun. Like So with the Fiji event, you know, you got Namotu, you got Tavarua, and back then it was like all the Australians stayed on Namotu, and all the internationals stayed at Tavarua.
Yeah.
So we all stayed at Namotu, and it was like going to dinner, and like it was like this little mess hall, pretty much like a mess hall, like, you know, 8-seater tables, and everyone's sitting together. You're sitting with Mick, you're sitting with Joel, Wilco, Owen, Julian, like all your idols, and you're seeing them at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah. And like for me, that whole like interaction was like that was the highlight for me, more so than the result itself.
Yeah, true.
Just to be able to like interact with those guys on a daily basis, and like, you know, them being so kind enough to like, you know, give you tips, and, you know, like if you wanted to ask a question, they'd answer it. Like things like that was like, when I take away like that experience, I don't even take away the second. I take away all the memories that I created during that whole waiting period. You know, like even, for example, it was like midway through the event, it was probably after round 3, I beat Kelly, and Kieran Perro was like, yep, it's off for a week. So
beer time.
So they got this thing on the Motu called Skull Drag, where it's this concoction of cocktails. There's like 10 or 15 shots or whatever in this one cocktail, and they pour it through a fucking the snorkel, right? And you got goggles on, so it blocks your nose, and they pour it through a snorkel. And if you're there for the first time, you have to do one,
right?
So,
initiation.
Yeah, it's like an initiation thing for the island. So like they called it off 10 days. And Mick's just gone, all right, well, this is the day you boys are doing it. It was me, Ethan, and John Daru.
Right.
And so, yeah, that night, I had a few beers before it anyway, just because the comp was off and whatever. And then smack one of them and got so twisted, so maggot. Like during the contest, like I'm still in the contest, but it's been off for 7 days. And like those are the things that you remember like forever, you know, like sitting in like me and Mick, maggot in the Motu, like doing a piss together and shit like that. Just like shit, like I remember.
Sword fight.
Yeah,
does he have a foreskin or what?
I remember like him grabbing me and going, "We're going to go do a piss," and I was like, "Wow, this is crazy! I'm about to do a piss with fucking MF." So I'm just sitting there, we're just both in the urinal doing a piss together. And I'm like, "This is the weirdest but coolest, fucking most exciting."
You almost want to take a photo, hey, but then you're like, "Oh, I don't know."
So like I said, for me, it's. The result was great. That was a bonus, but it's the amount of fun that I had leading into that whole event was the shit that I'll remember forever. And I was just having heaps of fun. There was waves every day. I had Louis there, which was real good. He's been there heaps of times, so he gave me a lot of insight on lineups and what you're looking for and things like that, which created a lot of clarity for me when I was in the water. Yeah. Because Fiji, Cloudback's such a big lineup. It's easy to get lost. So I was pretty clear on where I needed to be and what type of waves I was looking for, and it all could just kind of everyone just fell around me, which is pretty cool.
Sweet, and you find yourself in the final. Now, quick question there on that. So you've come through a couple of sort of, I guess, ages of tour life. Like you're obviously there with Mick Fanning and Parker at the start, and you sort of come through that. They retire. Kelly's still lingering. He's gone now, and then you're on there with essentially you're not one of the older guys, but there's plenty of guys younger than you on the tour now. How's the party life now compared to how it was originally when the lads were on? Is it significantly different now?
Yeah, way different.
Is that bad?
Way less time.
Is that
yeah,
bad? Like
shit. Sorry. It's so
what caused it? What happened?
I don't know. Yeah,
do you reckon it was the development
the
of
personalities on the tour these days? Pretty weird. I feel like back in the day, it was like everyone loved to have a beer and loved to have fun.
Yeah.
Well, now it's a bit split. Like you don't really know there's only a certain few
who
people.
your allies are.
There's only a certain few people that you kind of like know will have a beer with you after the comp or this and that. Well, back then it was like, they would like go from nothing to everything. You know, Mick, Joel, who else is there? Yeah, Wilco, Owen. All those guys were like, they were all in, and they're all in together when they knew the time was right. Well, now it's just all kind of a bit split, and I guess now with like social media and stuff, everyone's a bit more like tentative on.
Look at NRL. Whenever they win a fucking game, it's just everywhere the next day.
Yeah, I think everyone, for sure, everyone would be a little bit more scarce to show their true colours and have a bit more fun in the public eye, just because, you know, who knows, someone could post something stupid of you,
Yeah.
make you look like an idiot, and
For sure.
and that could hinder your profile and sponsors and this and that. So
It's almost becoming cool again, though. Look at Al. Like,
yeah,
He's bringing it
now
back.
everyone's kind of like, oh, well, he is having 6 beers and doing okay, so maybe it comes back, maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
I mean, I hope it does because I'm that type of person. I love, having a good time when time fits, and I'll drink during the event. Like I'm not that type of person. It's like the comp's on. I'm not. Bells. I'm not drinking until I've, done my job, and then I'll drink heaps. It's more like if I feel like I'm gonna have a beer, I'll have a beer. It's more just reading your body and knowing when to do it and when to not do it.
Well, for the listeners, I was actually trying to keep my sobriety going, and you were the one who broke me. I was up to. I flew into Bells going, I'm going to get to 4 weeks off the piss. I was at 3.5. First night with this guy. He just looks at me, opens the fridge and goes, Zach, we haven't had a beer together in a while. And I went, we haven't. It's been a minute. And he's like, you still off the beers? I'm like, I'm off the beers. And he just had this twinkle in his eyes, like, should we have a beer? So, like, he didn't even get to, like, I don't even have a rubber wrist because no one twisted it. No. It's just he looked at me for a second and went, let's have a beer.
Yeah. I love as well how, like, so you lost out of that, and obviously you took off, you had to come home.
Yeah.
He stayed, and he was so blind on the last night on his own down there. There was no one there. And
I wasn't on my own. Don't make me out to be a hobo.
Who are you with? Who are you staying with?
I was with Jack Pub, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Fucking 7,000 people
I'm getting these photos of like him at the pub, and I'm like, dude, who are you with? He's like, I'm on my own.
So good.
So he can't blame you. I'm sorry, you can't blame Connor for this.
I was staying by myself.
Oh, right.
But I was with people. I'm not a sad alcoholic, people.
I started his tirade of alcoholism back up.
Yeah.
You
Now I
were-
haven't slept in 3 weeks.
You were his relapse,
Oh,
essentially.
was I?
You made him
Yeah.
relapse. But yeah, very successful first year on tour for you. You end up with Rookie of the Year, which, again...
Did you get paid for that one?
Yes.
No, you don't.
Nothing.
What the fuck, WSLs?
I know.
What are they doing?
Did you know that when you were in the running for it, or were you expecting
No,
a check?
I didn't know anything.
Right.
So you're like, they give you the trophy, then you're like, oh, so is the check like downstairs or something?
It's like when your grandparents
should.
grandparents give you a Chrissy card or something, and you like open the card and read it, and you just try and ignore
Just
the
says
money
happy
that fell
birthday.
out. Yeah. And
Oh no, $3,000 fell out. Oh, thank you. Didn't have to.
But yeah, look, a very prestigious award in
It
itself.
is, yeah.
Anyway,
It's super cool. Like it's cool to be able to have my name on there with the list of people that are on there.
yeah.
Like I said, you only have one chance at it, so it was cool to be able to come away with it, especially with the rookie class that was on when I was on. Ethan was on there,
Yes,
so it's like fuck.
it's a big
Look at
big
him
scalp
now.
you've taken
Yeah,
there.
so
Yeah.
to be able to take that off him,
Yep.
got you, Heath.
Got him. But unfortunately, it does go a little south after that year. You find yourself going in between the tour for, 2 years? Off on?
I fell off
Fell off 2018.
2018, and then qualified 2019,
Yep.
and then COVID,
Yep.
and then 2021 fell off,
Yep.
and then got back on that year. So then 2022, yeah.
And then
Crazy.
you also lose Quicksilver.
Yeah, so let's
Yep.
backtrack. So you fourth 2018.
Yep.
2019, you spend the year in the QS. You're looking pretty good to requalify.
Yep.
Like, you're looking good, and then Quicksilver gives you a phone call.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was Sam Griffith. Let's name him. It was fucking Griffo.
Didn't fight
I
for me.
saw
He
him.
didn't fight for me, did he?
I saw the page. It said who we keep, and they kept Zach Whiteman, and they dropped you.
It was funny, actually. I look back at it and I remember he already knew
Yep.
before it happened, because I remember talking to him about something and he kind of went, oh, yeah, like, haha. Didn't say anything, and I was kind of like, oh, that's weird. But now I look back at it and go, yeah, he already knew. But yeah, I got dropped midway through 2019.
Yep.
I was actually walking the dog on the beach, and Mickey called me. He's like, "Hey mate, fuck, got some bad news." And it was annoying because I was on the right path to qualify back onto the tour,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
felt like I was kind of doing the right things, and it was just more based on timing with my contract being up. Jesse Mendez was on the same program. Like, my contract was up at the end of the year, so it was easy for them to just go, "We're not going to re-sign you."
Yeah.
So yeah, got dropped. Super bummed. Just kind of like, it's just financially, it's hard, super hard. And as you know, Zach, you've seen it, and Finley, you probably know as well. But yeah, it got super hard on me because I was like, fuck, well, that was my main source of income. I'm doing everything I can to get back on the tour, and obviously they don't see that.
Yeah.
And to them to drop me, I was kind of like, fuck, that's fucked. Like, just kind of
Worst timing.
Yeah, it was just really bad timing, yeah. And it was just kind of like, I'm doing everything I can, and they don't back me. So what's the like? You definitely think of like, well, what's the point of me doing this anymore?
Yeah, like, do you take it personally, even though it's not a personal attack?
To be honest,
at
I
you?
did a bit for a bit. I was like, I took it pretty personal just because I was like, fuck, well, like, what else am I supposed to do? Like, I did fall off the tour, but I'm doing everything I can to get back on, and they still go, nah, we don't want you. So
and at the time, like Leo would have kept his contract.
Yep. Yeah.
Kanoa kept his contract.
Yeah.
So it's
Like
hard to be
Zeke.
like, well, if it's not me, then what is it?
Yeah.
Like if Leo got dropped, Kanoa got dropped, you get dropped, everyone gets fucking dropped, and they keep maybe like Jeremy or fuck, I don't know who else was kind of their top person.
Was Zeke Lau back
Zeke,
then,
yeah.
maybe?
Zeke. It'd make it a bit easier, but to be one of the selected crew to be cut, and I'm guessing no like negotiation, nothing, just
Nothing, just a straight like, yep, see you later. That was fun.
And how long were you with them for?
Since I was about 18.
Yeah, so it's like, that's tough because you almost
So
like
that's a decade.
Well, it was frustrating for me because I was, and I go back to like, I was never that guy that was like, I need more money.
Yeah.
I deserve more money. I was like, I was doing everything I can with the money that they gave me. I wasn't negotiating for any more. I was like, thank you very much for this. I'll do as best as I can to use this money to do as best as I can for you guys and your brand. And just to be able to, for them to just go, yeah, no, you're done. Like, it was definitely, I took it personal for a bit. I kind of was pretty bummed for a bit. And then I went, you know what, fuck this. I'm qualifying this year just to prove to these cunts that like, I'm worthy of a sponsor, you know?
Yep,
For sure.
And so it kind of fired me up a bit to get to the end of the year and go, yeah, I'm going to fucking get back on the tour and show them that, you know, I'm still good enough.
And yeah, and a massive F you to Quick. You did exactly that. You got back on. But like we touched on before, there was no tour in 2020. So you now going, oh no, the sky's falling. Like what's happening?
Well, yeah, I mean, we got paid for 7 events.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we got paid for WSL.
As in, so when you say 7 events, did they just give like the average amount of prize money to each athlete? Or
Yeah, it was like, 10 grand an event. You got 7 events, it was like 70 grand or whatever.
Right.
US. So that was pretty good.
Yep.
Which helped heaps, you know, not having a sponsor and this and that. And then, it was actually pretty sick, to be honest.
Yeah.
We got crazy waves here.
It was cooking.
No one was around.
Yeah.
Like, it was such a good year for me to get better at surfing.
Yeah. And
you know, work on boards and, we got fucked up cooking waves.
it was pumping. We were all on the Scott Morrison. I think it was Scott Morrison at the time on the
Yeah,
Centrelink,
right, yeah.
Centrelink
We were on the
program.
Centre, yeah.
I think I had my shifts cut at the shop for a bit there, and we were just literally we were surfing the point every day.
Yeah.
It was cooking. But so obviously, that's actually, I didn't know that you got a big payout for that year of surfing. So in actuality, that works out really well for you because you've fallen off tour, you've gotten back on, and you know you're still going to be there in 2021. You've basically just got a year off to go and fine tune. You've been paid for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And in 2021, you make a pretty big call. You leave CI to start trying different equipment. What sort of set this off? What were you dealing with at the time?
It was like, so I was with CI from 18.
Right.
So I was like going into my juniors and stuff. I was riding Warner surfboards.
Yeah.
Brett Warner from the Northern Beaches, and he was great. And then stemmed from that to CI, and then I just kind of hit a crossroad with CI. So CI Australia and CI US were different franchises back then.
Yeah.
And I was getting my CIs shaped by a wonderful shaper, Matt. His name's Matt Penn. Used to shape for Insight. Unbelievable shaper. Even now he shapes great boards. And I took that year to go like, fuck, all right, this is my time to like make a model.
Yeah.
So like starting to like kind of dissect the model and trying to make a high performance board, but make it easier to ride for everyone. Kind of like an easier to ride HP craft.
Yeah.
And I was having a lot of trouble doing it, and Penny, he kind of was a bit scared to, I guess, give his designs to CI America because they'd take all the credit and he wouldn't get any credit and this and that. He had a lot of trouble with Kyleton back in the day with it. And we kind of hit a crossroad where I was like, oh, I just want to like tweak a few of this. Can we tweak this file? And he was kind of like, nah, we can't.
Right.
Like, and he kind of went, I've given a lot to these guys and I've just, they take all the credit and I don't really want to give them any more. I'm just here to shape my quota of boards. I'm sorry, but like that's all I can do. Mm-hmm. And I remember Brent Powers, who's now is the US like team manager. We kind of all sat in the shaping bay and I was like, well, if that's all I can do, then I'm not going to get better at surfing with these boards. I've kind of I've gone to the roof, the ceiling of CI, and I want to make these boards better. But if I can't, then where am I? How much better am I going to get?
Yeah.
So at that time, I was kind of like, because we were at home up here, I was doing a bunch of work with Woody.
Yep.
That's kind of when we first started working together here, and he was like, why don't you try a few why don't we just go see a DH and see if we can get a few DHs? And at that time, DH was like, yeah, fuck, I'll shape you a few boards. And I was kind of he was asking me how CI is going, and I was like explaining to him my situation. He was like, it shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it should be that hard.
Yeah, and he was like, I was going, fuck.
You're not asking for much either.
No, I was like, fuck, it doesn't seem like it's that hard. But for CI, I was like, they had locked files and they couldn't unlock them and this and that. It seemed real complicated.
Yeah, right.
Well, DH, because he's the main guy, he's like, he can pull all the
Do
strings.
whatever.
He's got no restrictions. So I was kind of like, wrote a few DHs, felt incredible. I was so worried that I was going to I was kind of hoping they were going to be shit, so I can just completely just clear them from my mind and go, okay, the CIs are good.
Yeah.
Keep working at that.
Make your life easy.
But I got on one the first time I was running out the point, and I remember Woody was like, I think you're going to have to get a few more of these. And I was kind of going, really? Oh, no, it doesn't feel that good. Like nitpicking, and then I'd watch the footage and go, fuck, these are pretty good.
Yeah.
And then, kind of like I made the leap of faith just before the Newcastle event was on.
Yep.
Which for me, it was pretty sporadic, but I was kind of like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it a go. And that's kind of how it all started.
So, and Newcastle event, this is the year where they had that pretty limited tour, right? They had the they had a few events in Australia.
Yep.
So there's an event we want to touch on here because we've had some pretty interesting stories that came out of this, which is Rottnest. But obviously you make this equipment change and then you actually fall off again this year off the tour. Are you going, oh no, I've changed boards.
For sure.
I've fallen off tour.
Yeah.
How's that sort of process through your head?
It was pretty weird. It was kind of like, I definitely was doubting myself, going like, fuck, was this the right call? Fucking hell, I don't know if these boards are good. They were good, but the results weren't reflecting on how good I was really surfing.
For sure.
So I was kind of second guessing it a lot, and then I decided that year that because I didn't have a sponsor and I felt like I didn't need a coach to travel with me and kind of be that second opinion.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, Newcastle, Rottnest, like there was a lot of events that you could just be able to just wing it solo. So I just thought, save a bit of coin. I won't travel with anyone. I'll just go by myself.
Yeah.
And it kind of turned out to be the worst for me because for me, I'm a huge overthinker.
Yeah.
So to be able to have that second opinion to go, this is good, this is bad, really helps my overthinking mind. So yeah, I didn't have that, and it completely fucked me.
You've landed well with Dog then. He'll fucking tell you exactly what needs to happen.
Yeah.
I love that he could just look at you with a big smile and go, Connor, that's fucked.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, oh yeah, that's fucked.
Yeah. So it really put into perspective how, for me personally, it's not everyone, but for me personally, employing a coach is an investment into my own career instead of looking at the figure and going, fuck, it's, this amount, I don't know, like it's a lot of money, but I look at it and go, if that's going to give me an extra 10 years on tour, I'll pay it any day of the year.
Yeah.
And don't even think about the figure because that's what's going to help me progress and do well.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah.
We touched on this last week as well. We kind of had a bit of a spiel on Tommy Whitaker. He just had a very successful event over there at Margie's with his athletes. So is it, and obviously you don't have to drop figures here, but across the board, is it generally percentage of prize money, or do they operate on different sort of
pro rata?
They're all pretty different, I think.
Yep.
Dog's like a yearly salary, which isn't too much, and
Yep.
then it's 10%. Yeah, Dog's super honest, which is unbelievable. Like,
Yeah.
he's like how he operates is like he just loves working with people he loves working with.
Yeah.
And he's not doing it to make a lot of money. He's doing it to help the athlete that he cares about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's got like a little base salary and then 10%, and we split his expenses.
Beautiful. Yeah. And then just to, like you say, you said you're a bit of an overthinker. This year you fell off tour, and then you go and win France on a mayhem.
Yeah.
It's like, what's that doing to your brain at that point?
Well, I went to, so they had the Mexico event, CT, lost first heat, and then we were supposed to go to Tahiti.
Right.
That was going to be the last event, but it got cancelled because of COVID.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden it went from me going like, oh, there's one event for me to try and qualify, and then they cancelled it. I was all of a sudden off tour.
Yeah.
So in between Mexico and Huntington, there was like 2 months. But I couldn't go home because of the hotel quarantine. It would have been too expensive because it's like $4,000 or whatever, and 2 weeks hotel quarantine. I decided to stay in California for 2 months. It was me, Wade Carmichael, Jesse Little, Macy, and Sheldon.
Right.
5 of us. We all just kind of we've got Airbnbs, like stayed around California, and spent a bit of time in San Clemente. And I was kind of like, fuck it, I'm going to try a few mayhems. And just ordered a couple because I was in San Clemente anyway, and they felt unreal.
Yeah.
Like, fucked up. I was going like, I went from like hating surfing and just going like, the CT year was fucked. Like, the boards are good, but I was kind of overthinking it a lot and focusing on the results. So therefore, I felt like I wasn't surfing good.
Yeah.
To like having that 2 months ago and like having these good boards and just loving surfing again. Like there's no better feeling than having a board that does everything you want it to do to keep you in the water and keep you wanting to catch waves.
For sure.
So
Finley.
What?
We've just bought some boards from JS, but we're going to have to go buy a fucking mayhem now. We don't have any money, Connor. And now when you leave today, we're now going to go onto mayhem and buy $5,000 worth of
buy a
fucking
sub
surfboards.
driver. They're the best. But yeah, so I got a few mayhems just to try. They felt great. And started riding them a fair bit in and amongst the DHs. And DH was so cool about, like, I wasn't 100% on DHs.
Yeah.
I was still paying for him.
Yeah.
He was fortunate enough to charge me real cheap, which was cool. So I got a few mayhems as well just to try. Just to kind of, I was in that period of like the experimental phase.
Definitely.
And had the time to do it. And I was in California anyway, so it kind of all worked out pretty well.
And if you're going to get a mayhem, you want to get it from like the horse's mouth. That makes sense. You know, you want the guy, you want Matt to shape it for you. So, I mean, why not have a go? We'll circle back now, though, to what I wanted to ask you previously. Rottnest Island. Now, Zach got some intel during the week. Is Rottnest Island, specifically the accommodation there where you were staying, haunted?
No, there was a part that was haunted.
Right.
Yeah. Apparently it's fucked up.
Did you have any experiences?
Kingy and Dog stayed in the like hotel where Dog didn't, but Kingy stayed in the like motel where it was haunted, and he couldn't stay there. He was sleeping on Dog's floor.
You were saying some WSL officials as well were like, nah, there's something fucking else going on here.
Paranormal
apparently
activity.
It's pretty fucked up.
Really?
Yeah.
But you didn't have any ghosts?
I didn't have any, because we were staying in the nicer one.
Okay.
Yeah. But
And that's why they're never going back.
They're not going back.
Yeah,
And
there's
because
weird
the
juju
wave
going
is
on there.
fucked.
And the wave's horrible. And the quokkas are just ugly and they look like rats.
Why do they go there? Like, why?
The quokkas.
I don't know.
Like, as an Aussie, you go, let's do a strike mission. That's the 50th, 60th spot I'm lying. It'd be 160th.
Probably last.
Why? What made them, do you reckon, go Rottnest?
I reckon WA Tourism pumped heaps of money into it. So they were like,
no one had
let's put it
kicked a
at Rotto.
quokka in a while, so they were like, someone
They were
come
like,
kick
let's
one.
Let's pump Rotto up. And to be honest, it's a cool place to go and visit for the day.
Yeah.
But staying there for 2 weeks,
Oh.
it definitely got the best of us for
It'd
sure.
be
We were pretty
horrific.
keen to get out of there.
Weird year. Now, do you finish that year feeling a little bit paid off that obviously you've had a limited number of events?
Yeah.
It wasn't what it looked like on the brochure. Like
Yeah.
you've been promised essentially like the dream tour. You've had to surf Rottnest Island.
Yeah.
You've been kicked off with thinking you've got an event in hand, which you actually didn't,
Yeah.
and you're back on the QS again. Is that like, are you just annoyed beyond belief, or is it?
Fucked. I was like as sad as that was the closest I've ever got to quitting for sure. Like I remember sitting in my motel room in Mexico, and Mexico for me, you know, like I was by myself because I wanted to save money, and I was on my own program and I didn't have any bit of fun. Like,
Yeah.
to be honest, like I look back at that and go like, I'd do it so differently now. I was so sad. I was so like in my own head, overthinking everything. Like, and I wasn't having any fun. Like that event should have been so fun. And there was everyone around me was having a lot of fun, but for some reason for myself, I couldn't have that fun because I was just by myself. And for me personally, I enjoy having company like so much when I'm away because it's what keeps me sane and what keeps me have heaps of fun and switch off in between heats and this and that. So for me, Mexico was like the lowest point of my life.
Right.
Like I lost in Mexico, and then I remember going home to my hotel room. I was crying. I was going, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm finished. And I was going, I'm coming home. Like I was telling Steph, I'm coming home. I'm done. Like I'm finished. And she was actually probably the only person. She was the only person that kept me going.
Yeah.
She was like, I was like, I'm going. I'm not staying away for another 4 months. I can't do that. This is fucked. And she was going, all right, put it this way. You're going to come home. What are you going to do? Are you going to just bum around in Lennox being a sad sack? Like fucking just complaining to people that you fell off tour this year, but you're going to go back on next year. Like you're going to get a job. Like, what are you going to do? Like you may as well stay there. You've got one chance to be able to get back on next year.
Yeah.
You've got 5 events. Yeah, you got 5 events, and you can come back in December being on the tour again.
Yeah.
You know? Or you can come home, quit, and fucking regret that you didn't try and gave it a go.
Yeah.
So for her to be that supportive, you know, I've already been away for like a month or whatever, to then go like, for her to suck it up and go, you know, I'm not going to see him for another 4 months. It was like, she was the reason why I reckon I've still got a career now.
Wow.
So, yeah.
You picked a fucking winner.
There you go.
Picked a winner.
But yeah, so like I said before, you win France, you get straight back on. You're on the next year again, as Steph predicted. So,
but you know that year, like I had the funnest year I've ever had on the challenges that year.
True.
Like, I went from like being sad, but you know I went through heaps of adversity along the way. Like I learned a lot about myself that year.
Yes.
So I went to California. I was like, okay, Huntington, 2 months. I'm going to train. I'm going to lock in. I'm going to fucking surf Huntington every day. I'm going to be serious. Like this is my 4 months to like really lock in, get off the piss, like, you know, be serious. Mm-hmm. And I lost first heat. 4th.
Fuck, that sucks, eh?
4th.
You do everything
and I went,
right.
well, what the fuck? I'm doing everything right. Like, but I was so pent up on the fact that I was doing everything right that therefore in my head I felt like I deserved that result because I've been doing all this shit.
Yeah.
But I wasn't actually going like, okay, why am I doing this stuff? You know, like what is the reasoning and what feels good for me in order to help me perform at my best? And then I went to Europe and just went, I'm going to just start having a bit more fun. Like I'm so tight and uptight and not enjoying it that much. And I was traveling with Wade and Cooper Chapman and Wade's film and Jesse, the 4 of us, and hanging out with Wade really put life into perspective. Like that cunt has the best fun. He had the best fun and like work-life balance you could think of. And he like inspired me so much to go like, you can have a lot of fun and still get good results.
Yep.
Within reason. It's just a controlled environment.
You have to stop and smell the roses at some point.
100%. You've got to stop and go like, fuck, our life is pretty sick.
Well, it's funny. We interviewed Mikey Madonna, obviously. And he said that's what he wish he did on the Challenger Series. He's gone to Portugal, he's gone to the States, he's gone to South Africa. Most motherfuckers don't get to experience leaving casino, let alone fucking anything.
Yeah.
So he was like, fuck, I kind of wish I stopped and smelled the roses and had that fun. So, and he said when he learnt to do that, the results came with it.
Exactly.
And it sounds like it happened again with you.
After Huntington, I sat down and went, okay, none of this is working. What am I going to do going into Portugal that's going to help me get back on the right path that I want to go to get and get back on the tour? And so the main one was boards, get a few mayhems just to see how they go, order a couple, let's take them to Portugal. 2 was, okay, I need to get a coach. I need to start investing in, a coach to help me, because being by myself and doing this solo isn't working for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I knew Dog. I wanted to work with Dog a few years back anyway, but he was tied up with Billabong and this and that. And I knew he was going to Portugal and doing the Challenger, the Europe Challenger, because
he's based in Portugal,
He's based in France.
Yep.
So he does the Portugal one and the France one anyway. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to text Dog and say, hey, can I work with you for Portugal and France? And he was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Like, I've known Dog my whole life. He used to babysit me when I was a kid. So we've had that relationship for ages, but to be able to like rekindle that, on a like a mature
professional scale,
like adult to adult, like basis was super cool. And he just, like I said before, it was just a lot of clarity on like good, bad, do this, don't do that.
Yep.
Like, this is good, this is bad. Just shut everything, all the bad shit off, and let's focus on what's good. So he just weeded out all the crap. And then hanging out with Wade, and that put in the perspective of how much fun you can have while also competing at a high level. So I had the best of both worlds. I had hanging out with Wade, like staying with them, but then also when I'm going to compete, I was with Dog. So like the switch on, switch off was such a good balance for me. Went to Portugal, didn't do that good. Like made one heat,
right.
But I made that one heat and I felt like I won the contest.
Right.
Yep.
It felt like I was like, oh my God, this feels unbelievable. I haven't made a heat in 4 events.
Yeah. You found glory.
And it was a grindy one. I just kind of just got through and then lost the next one. But I was like, okay, that's a good stepping stone. It wasn't like, oh, I'm fucking over it. Like I took it so shallow and like took all the positives out of it and not much of the negatives. And then went to France and kind of just did the same thing. Mm-hmm. Had really good boards and it was having heaps of fun. And just knew it was so clear on what I needed to do. And I feel like having good equipment helped that and helped boost that confidence. And then having Dog there to organise everything in between. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was sick.
So from 2018 to 2022, you're on, you're off, you're on, you're off. You go through a bit, the roller coaster, we'll call it, of emotions. 2022 onwards, you stay on. What's the difference between 2022, Connor, and 2018? What's the fundamental thing that changed? Is it equipment or is it something mental that you just went, that's my aha moment of, that's what it fucking is?
I feel like every year you get a bit more belief. You gain more belief every year. I think training is really important. I've had Pete in my corner since nearly day one. Mm-hmm. And I think he is, for me, the most important aspect of my career. If I didn't have him, my career wouldn't be where it is today. You know him pretty well, Zach, and you trained with him before I trained with him. And I think for me personally, I think he's the best trainer in the world.
He's Master Shifu or fucking Kung Fu Panda.
He is the master, and it's a testament to his training that I haven't been injured at all.
True.
Yeah.
Fuck,
like
everyone
any
gets
injuries.
slapped by that big dick of fucking...
Yeah. And that's the main thing for us surfers is we get injured and our career's fucked.
Yep.
So to be able to be injury free and how he operates, it's so inspiring for me to be able to work as hard for him, because he's so passionate about what he does and he loves it.
He's the fucking wise one.
Oh, he's unbelievable. And it's a testament to him that, my career is still flowing the way it is.
I love that he's so underground. Like,
and he just doesn't want to be that person that's, you know, known or, you know, heard about.
Sorry, Pete. We've just given him a
We
massive
gave
rap.
him a big rap.
we've just unleashed. But like, yeah, for anyone who wants to know a bit more about Peter Roberts, I 100% agree. One of the most influential people in this area. The fact that we have the ability to tap into that is blessed. He lived in Japan. He's worked with samurais. He's worked with fucking sumos. His brother's in special forces or something like that. So he's probably the most well-rounded individual I've ever met. And he's got the most wisdom.
And he surfs too. And that's, but the thing that's great about him is like he surfs, but he doesn't train surfers like they should be surfers.
That's his philosophy.
Yeah. So it's great. You know,
no cliche bullshit. Just
no
strip
gay
back,
pop
old
ups and this
school.
and that. Yeah. So, you know, I feel like me moving to Lennox has been the best thing that's ever happened to my
There
career.
you fucking go, people. There you fucking
like,
go.
To be able to have, like, and I say this to Mikey and all, you know, Scrap and a lot of the kids in this area. Like, it's unbelievable the amount of support that you can have in such a small area. You know, you got Woody, you got Pete, you got like Billy Massage, and you got so many like so much support crew in such a small town that, like, when I was growing up in Cronulla, it was so hard to find. You know, I had Blake Johnson there, like, doing all this stuff, but he was so tied up with learn to surf and this and that, though. He was super busy, and it was hard to be able to, like, hone in on him all the time. And to have that 100% support, you know, that I've got with now Pete and now Woody whenever he's home. So we work together a lot when I'm home. It's, you know, one of the reasons. Oh, it is one of the reasons why I'm still doing it, still on the tour for sure.
Yeah.
I was going to say 2022, and you touched on it before. It seems to me, at least, and probably to Zach, I assume too, this is like the year that you started really believing that you belonged on the tour, and you were sort of that caliber of guy that can be pushing for you know, world titles at the end of the year. Like that's kind of, to me at least, when you were like, that's when it sort of set in for you. You sign a new deal with Hurley too, which is, I'm assuming, pretty massive for you after losing Quick, sort of running stickless for a little bit, and then jumping back on with a major surf brand like that. I'm assuming that is a big part of your success to this point as well, like just having that backing.
Yeah.
Was there anyone else on the table? You have to kick back anyone?
Yeah, they're throwing huge offers at him, and he just went, nah.
Is there anyone else? I don't remember. I don't think so.
Fucking Target or
Yeah, nah. I don't think so. No,
Piping Hot? They were kind of fucking kicking it for a bit.
For about a year, huh?
It was like Cody
Wade
Klein.
was sponsor mine.
Jake Snellgrove.
Jake Snell was actually getting paid. He got $5,000 a year. And Wade, Cody Klein, and maybe that was it. And Jake Snellgrove. So no one else, there was no other like kind of company kicking around.
Not really. No, it was just kind of all Hurley, which was pretty cool.
I guess because
take it.
I feel like now that I'm in the position I'm in, like, when you look at someone stickless on the tour, it's like, fuck, that's going to come with such a big budget.
Yep.
So, like, if you're not on the tour, you're probably going to have heaps of people going,
For sure.
let's fucking give him this, give him that. But it's like, when you're looking up at the tour, you're like, well, to even get a meeting, it's probably like 6 figures.
Yeah.
So it's probably harder to get a sponsor on tour than it is off tour,
For
right?
sure, yeah. But I guess nowadays, like, the money thing, it's not as big as what everyone thinks.
Yep.
You know, so for me, it was like more just to get my foot in the door and then, you know, get results to then get more.
Yep.
You know, to have a reason.
Leverage it.
Yeah, have a reason to be able to barter for more because, you know, I started with this and here I am still on the tour. Now I deserve a bit more kind of thing.
Yep.
So yeah, it was cool. It was cool. You know, big thanks to Rossi for lining it up. But yeah, it was really cool, and it was just kind of it felt real natural, which is sick. You know, as a kid, I actually was like, that was one of my dream sponsors. Looking at like Julian, Kalohe, fucking Felipe.
The stretchy fucking board shorts.
Yeah.
How were those things? It was like, you used to go to the beach and be like, look how far I can
So
stretch
good.
them.
Yeah, I just remember like seeing how like Rob Machado, Yaden Nickel, like I was like looking at all those guys going, that Hurley logo is so cool.
Yep.
So yeah, it was cool. It kind of did full circle, and yeah, here I am.
You paid the investment back that year. You end up with a third place at G-Land, and it's your best year to date. You counted all ninths and fifths for that year for a 9th place finish. So inside the top 10. Hurley's stoked. You're stoked. Everyone's stoked. The G-Land event, though, where you got third, you became a bit of a social media presence on the WSL's page. The parties that you were pretty well ringleading all of the parties every night. Is that the best event you've ever been to? Is it up there?
It was pretty weird. G-Land was weird. Like, we all kind of went a bit loopy because the waves were so shit. We got so skunked.
Yeah.
And like that one party we had was like midway through the event, and same thing, kind of like they went on hold. They called it off for like 4 or 5 days. So everyone was pretty much over it by that point. Like, G-Land's a fucking pretty rough zone.
Yeah.
And to be there for 2 weeks with onshore winds and fucking 1 foot waves and rain, kind of got to the best of everyone, and like the food was pretty shit and this and that. So everyone was just kind of like, fuck it, let's just fucking send it on one night. And I remember we were all on the athlete area deck because there were so many of us. It caved in. Felipe nearly like fell into the hole. It was pretty crazy. But yeah, it was fun. They dragged it on like it was like a couple nights, but it was only one night.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, you just kept getting posted, and like it seemed like you're at the forefront of that whole thing.
Shane. I had my mate Shane there, and he was just like, it's so sick when you take a mate to an event because everything's so new, and like to like see someone like, Felipe, have a beer with him and like shit like that. He was just kind of going, oh my God, this is crazy. So yeah, to see him like, I guess, experience it full force, and then to like get maggot with Felipe and like this and that, like the thing caving in and stuff. It was a cool experience. But yeah, the waves were shit, but it was fun. Good event.
That's the same Shane that messaged us saying that you shut yourself behind the rock, by the way.
That was
Cheers, Shane.
We had that post up on Instagram saying, ask Connor anything, and within probably half an hour, Shane just goes, ask him about shitting himself behind the rock. And
I think he was the first one.
That is
It was the first one. But so yeah, finished with a 9th place that year, your best finish to date. 2023, we'll skim through that. You had another extremely consistent year, 11th place at the end of that. And it seems to align with you committing to DHD on a full-time basis. So I don't know if you knew that, but
it's funny. I feel like it took the relationship DH and I had, it took a while to actually connect with like some good boards.
Yeah.
I knew it was the right choice, but it just took a little while to be able to
He's
gel.
pretty mysterious.
He's a misto dude.
He's pretty mysterious.
The thing that got me over the line with Dad, because I was kind of umming and ahhing between Mayhem and Darren, because the 2022 year I was riding a bit of both, and it was to be honest, the Mayhems were probably better, but to be so far away from Matt, like getting boards shipped from Cali to Australia was like, it was going to cost heaps of money, and it would have been a mission anyway. While DHs weren't, they felt like they were better, good in good waves, but all the other shit, it was kind of a bit iffy. But I knew I could work on that being so close to him.
Yeah.
And I knew, and it was so cool to see how invested and interested he was in me, because he's got fucking Mick, Ethan, Steph. He's got so many guys that are so much better than me and have so much more accolade that he can give so much more attention to them. But he was giving just as much attention to me.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I was kind of like, this is going to work.
Yeah.
And it might not be working right now, but I know it will click over and all of a sudden I'll get some good boards. So, yeah, it took probably like 2 years to get some, to really gel into some good boards. And, yeah, here I am.
For sure. And then this is maybe your biggest, we've kind of gotten up to 2024 now. Probably one of the biggest moments in your career is you began the year changing your allegiance from Australia to Japan in 2024. Obviously, I'm guessing a hard decision for you to make.
Yep.
What were your thoughts at this time and any repercussions that came from this?
I've been thinking about it for a couple of years. It all kind of came up pretty organically.
Yep.
Everyone's kind of been saying to me, why haven't you changed earlier, this and that? But it just didn't seem like it fit with me. It didn't sit with me right up until, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, sure.
I made the decision before the Olympics was even a thing. So it was just kind of bad timing so the whole process, for me changing from Australia to Japan, it took 2 years.
True.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
like
right.
it was the biggest fuck around ever. So and then once it kind of changed, there was definitely a few people like, oh, you only changed because you weren't going to get in for Australia, and it was easy for you to get in Japan, this and that, because the Olympics, and what people didn't see was like how the work it took to actually get to that point, and that was like 3 years before it even was the thing. So for me, it was just more like I feel like I've got such a big Japanese connection, mum being Japanese, and I grew up in such a heavily Japanese based culture growing up in Australia. So I just think that it was such a cool opportunity to be able to explore, my Japanese culture and heritage in a deeper level, and also thank all the supporters and the fans that I do have in Japan and represent them at the highest level as well.
For sure.
And then, I guess the Olympics was just like an added bonus that came on after that. But that was my main kind of perspective on it before kind of the Olympics deal kind of unraveled.
And can I just say as well, I'm sure you've got something to add to that, but like for anyone that was saying like, oh, you're just changing it because the Olympics are coming up, it's like, what, like even if not that you did do it, but like sure, it's a great career move, you know, like you as an athlete, you only have, it's not like you sign up for this for the next 60 years and you retire like a normal human being. It's like you have maybe a 10 to 20 year to maybe if you're Kelly Slater, you might have 30 years, but like just call it sort of 15 years career in this sport at the top level, at the top of your game. And you have that amount of time to make as much money for you and your family to set yourself up for the rest of your life. It's like, who cares,
Exactly. Like there's definitely that sense of selfishness that you've got to take and that risk you've got to take. And you're always going to get criticism no matter what risk you take and what choice and decision you make, just because we're on that pedestal of, people always trying to find something to criticize us about.
For sure.
So I knew there was always going to be backlash, and fuck, who cares, to be honest? Like you said, for me, it's like I could take the easy route and go with Australia and just kind of finish my career as an Australian. Yeah. But I reckon I would have regretted not at least exploring it deeper in trying to change and even taking the leap. Because at the end of the day, I'm still Australian as well.
For sure.
And I represented Australia for the first half of my career, and I feel like it was a good change to be able to represent Japan for the back half of my career. So I can represent both. So
definitely.
Yeah.
Was anyone upset by that? For example, someone in Japan who resides in Japan and you get the spot in the Olympics, which we'll get into next, but would anyone be upset by that?
To be honest, not as many as what I thought.
So you were ready for it?
I was ready for like everyone just
like your hero, Ahura, and
for sure.
Takumis and stuff of the world?
Yeah.
They're the nicest fucking blokes ever. I doubt it would ever happen, but I thought I'd ask.
I think, I was definitely ready for like everyone to go, this isn't fair. Like how come this guy's he's just changed over and all of a sudden he's like, what the fuck, what's he doing? So I kind of was expecting it, but I guess with Tahiti, Chopes, everyone was a bit kind of tentative on that. So no one really was like full force of wanting a spot anyway kind of deal. And I've known those guys since I was kids. I've been friends with them for so long. So it was kind of an easy transition into, going there, and they were stoked to have me, which was
so everyone there was welcoming.
Yeah.
What about on the home front here? Anyone get a bit shitty at you? Your Shanes and stuff, were they like a little bit?
Everyone was kind of like, it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when.
Yep.
So it's like everyone was kind of going, thank God you did it because you should have done it earlier, kind of thing. More so than like, why did you do it? So, yeah.
And for the people who don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, you live in Cronulla when you were a Grommy, but you speak Japanese in the house.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
So
because Mum couldn't speak much English when I was born. So it was just kind of,
hello.
hey, puppy. Hey,
you got a dog.
puppy.
Official dog of the podcast, hello.
So for the people actually around you close, it's no fucking shock, is it?
No, it's no shock. So everyone who knows me knows that, my Japanese culture is pretty big in my life. It's not like I'm not Japanese at all and haven't lived Japanese lifestyle and stuff like that. So yeah, everyone who knows me knows that it's pretty strong.
Yep.
Perfect.
So it all worked out fine. You don't regret it?
No, don't regret it one bit. I mean, there's definitely parts of when the process was changing, I was kind of like, is this the right choice? But all in all, look back now and go, yeah, I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, it's similar to Kanoa, right? He's Japanese, but moved to the States super young, 10 or something, 8 or something. So it wouldn't have been a shock like it's happened before.
Yeah.
No, he paved the way. So
Yeah.
I just kind of just jumped on the back of it.
And this was like, sorry, we're nearly done with this. We've been holding you up, but so this to me was the start of your big wave Dave era this year, 2024. And
Big wave Dave era.
so you clocked a third at pipe,
Yeah.
pretty good sized
Yeah.
pipe, and then
It was actually 1 foot until the quarters.
and then it got pretty solid.
Why did you have to jump in there? I had this vision. I was going to go to bed later and think about you in a big
I
fucking
was doing
pipe
backside
pit.
snaps till the quarters.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
And then so you get third at pipe. Even like just in general, though, like to register a result at pipe, you've got to have a pretty good idea of what's going on
for
there
sure.
anyway.
That's
So
cool.
like
Yeah.
you've nailed pipe, and then Olympics is huge. So you
Yeah,
get
massive.
to the Olympics. Firstly, did it feel like just another surf comp to you, or was it a completely different experience? And secondly, that huge day, like you didn't progress through that heat. But you sent it on some of the scariest looking waves I've ever seen in my life. Like
It was almost a closeout.
It was. It was a glorified close.
I was actually worried for your safety on the
Yeah.
number of waves
Fuck.
that you took off on. But yeah, firstly, did it feel like just another surf comp to you?
No, it felt completely different.
Really?
It's like you literally felt like you were surfing for a lot of people.
Right.
Like the amount of support that I got in that one event was a joke. Like
Yeah.
just so many messages of people going, "Yeah, I'm rooting for you." Like,
Would
know,
you say,
Japan-
sorry to jump in, Japanese support more or?
Yeah, Japanese, a lot
Okay.
of Japanese support, and also Australian as well. Like a bit
Yep.
of both, but a lot more in Japan. And just like with the officials, everything was so much more official and rule based and like team based. Like we had a chef and a sports nutritionist. We had all our coaches. We're all in this big like compound. Like
So you click your fingers and some shit happens.
that's it. Yeah, like there was a lady cooking us like breakfast, lunch, dinner. Like it was everything that, like it was so different to what a usual CT event would be like, and it made it seem like a CT event was like a border riders comp.
Right.
How unofficial it seemed. Like,
Wow.
it was crazy how structured it was.
Were they watching you pee?
No. But we had to do the P test and stuff. That was
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
But yeah, the Olympics, how they structure it is just, it's so professional. It's pretty overwhelming. Like,
So is that better or is it worse?
I think it doesn't fit surfing as well as
Too official.
Yeah, I think it's a bit too official. But it was cool to be able to experience, competition on that professional as professional as it is.
Yep.
So it was cool to see it, but I don't think it's fit surfing.
You couldn't do it long term.
I mean, you get used to it, but it's pretty overwhelming. Just like the whole team-based thing, and then the uniforms and stuff was pretty cool. It just felt like it was a lot. You weren't surfing for yourself. You were surfing for your country, and you're representing like a higher level of your country. So
And is that sort of what made you send it really hard on that? Do you reckon that played a big
for
factor
sure?
in it?
Yeah, like I had all this support that I was kind of like, you know what? If I go down swinging, I can say to no one will have an excuse of like, fuck, he did not try hard enough.
For sure.
Yeah, so like it was so cool to see everyone of how supportive they were, that like I didn't give up and just sent it as hard as I could for their country, because it's not actually, realistically it's not my country, but to show them that I was all in for Japan, like it gained a lot of respect towards me, which is super cool, even though I lost. So,
Yeah, amazing.
Do you feel a bit robbed that surfing was 10,000 kilometers or miles, whatever it was, I saw it today, away from the Olympic Village?
Yeah, it was. I was pretty bummed. I was kind of like
It wasn't. It was the Olympics, but is it the Olympics when you're so far away from the village? Because what I've heard from the podcasts about Olympians talking about it is like there's a village where like the shot put guy sleeps 2 doors down from the track guy, and the track guy sleeps next door to the swimming guy.
Yeah.
Do you think it needs to be like closer?
I think for sure. Yeah, it was a bummer that we were so far away.
And especially the end of the road at Tahiti, there's zero fucking going on there.
Oh, it's the most boring place in the world. Like, apart from the wave, there's not much going on.
It's literally
So,
a couple shacks,
yeah.
a bridge that runs there, and like a little restaurant. So, like,
Yeah.
did it feel a bit like you're going to the Olympics, hoorah, but they're in another country?
Yeah, for sure. Like, it definitely made me go, like, it sucks that I'm not. So, like I said to you earlier, like, I'm so all about the experience. And, like, they're the things that I'll remember the most, way more than results. And I feel like that was one of them ones that, like, it was an experience that you're going to miss.
Yep.
But then again, it's like, it gives you motivation to go, I'm going to try again, go for LA
For sure.
and experience it again. But yeah, to be able to, like, yeah, be in a room with, you know, a shot putter and a swimmer and a, you know, archery
The full
guy and the gun
experience.
guy. Yeah, the full experience would have been cool. But yeah, I mean, they made it as best of an experience as you could on an Olympic stage. It definitely felt, it had that aura, that Olympic aura for sure.
The only experience you didn't get and you were robbed of is buying a bag of Coke off a police officer. Like, who was it that did
Aussie
that?
guy, the Aussie hockey player.
Hockey player, yeah. You were robbed of that experience
Yeah,
to be in
yeah.
and around that. So maybe a good
Yeah.
thing that we were 10,000 kilometres away from that one.
Yeah,
But
it's a great thing.
And I
Yep.
think the beds as well in the Olympic Village, they made it like cardboard or something.
Yeah,
I
they
was
look
hearing.
shit
So
out.
I reckon you
they
had-
fucked up because they did a full environmental push
Yeah.
this year, and it was like you eat in cardboard, you sleep on cardboard,
Yeah.
you smell cardboard, and
Yeah.
cardboard.
So yeah, you would have had some
But
better
yeah,
accommodation.
We
for sure.
slept better for sure.
100%. Look, that really, we find ourselves now pretty much where we are on this couch today.
2024, 2025.
2025.
brother.
Yes, again, I said it off the top, but you're sitting in 14th. Just quickly, that quarterfinals at Margie's was a tough watch. I'm sure it wasn't even,
Yeah,
it was a tougher being out there.
Oh, it sucks.
And a listener asked this as well. Is this the worst way to lose a heat? Do you think what you experienced on that day?
I think so, yeah. Just not be able to get a chance to, I guess, try and get the score, you
For
know.
sure.
And I feel like it's been happening to me a lot this year of, like, you know, say I let Barron go a wave that I even said to Dog after, like, if I was to have that heat again, I would have not went that wave with priority.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I just knew there was 15 minutes to go and there was going to be another wave. And, like, there's been so many heats where you go a wave like that and then you give them priority and then they get a better one. And then you're like, why did you go that wave? So, yeah, I've definitely been robbed on the slower side of heats. But, yeah, it sucks for sure.
He was just the beneficiary of that day being slow without prio. And he's like, I may as well surf, and you had prio.
Exactly, yeah. It was like whoever didn't have priority would have went that wave and then would have won regardless. So,
For sure.
How many years have you been on tour now? What is it?
7
years.
7 years, yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're 7 years in. What was it? Finley, go back. Ninth is the...
Ninth
best.
was his best result, but he's sat in 14th now with 4 events remaining.
Yeah.
Every chance for you to push up and get your best ever
Yeah.
finish on the tour.
My question, sorry to jump in, Finley.
No, take it.
You're a dad of 5 weeks ago. You're
Yeah.
a dad. You have a house. You have 2 dogs.
Yeah.
You have a wife.
Yeah.
You have a Tesla.
Yeah.
Where does World Tour... where does World Champion sit in this? Is that like... Does Connor still see that? Or are you kind of at the point in your career where you're like, I'm fucking happy with whatever? Like, what's your goal here?
For sure. I mean, the world title is like, I feel like it's funny. You're striving for that, but I feel like I've got so much more before that I want to achieve before getting to a world title. You know, like winning an event for me would be like a huge goal. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if I'm focusing on trying to win events, then I guess I'll eventually get to the position of trying to win for a world title. Yeah. Like, it's definitely in the back of my brain, but it's not something I'm like, you know, falling asleep dreaming of and stuff like that. Like, I'm kind of looking a little bit more in the sense of like, yeah, trying to win events. You know, I'd just love to win an event. That's one thing that I'm like, every year I'm setting a goal of like winning events and like getting into that final stage of competing, because I feel like I'm at that stage now where I believe I can like make finals day in a lot of events. And that's what was so annoying for me at Margie's, was like, it was one of the, I guess, few events that I've ever had that I really felt like I could have won.
Yeah.
And I had so much belief. I'm like, fuck, I'm understanding this wave, and I'm like, feel like I'm surfing good. I'm getting a lot of like good feedback from judging and this and that. That I feel like I could win if I just keep making the right choices. And yeah, I lost against Barron, and it just fucking sucked.
I as well.
But
then, like I say, I had the same feeling to the point where I got on you 60 to 1 pretty early on. And I was
Billy's screaming at the TV.
I was like,
I
was like, just the way you were surfing, they were loving your surfing.
I know,
they were
yeah.
giving you big scores. You
Yeah.
didn't look like you were surfing too far outside
Yeah.
yourself. Oh my God, let's talk about a carcass.
But yeah, it was just, and that really shit me just because I felt like I could have won. But then I take away from that and I go, that's the mindset you want to be in at every event. But I feel like for myself, if I'm always looking too far ahead, that's when shit goes wrong.
Yep.
It's more like, so if I, take a step back and go, if I'm going to win events, that'll put me in a position to win world titles. But I need to get to that winning stage first.
And especially now with obviously the changes that have been announced for next year. So it's not a make the final 5 and then whoever's on that day wins. It's like you can now put together a portfolio of results in a year, and if you keep doing really well, if you win in events, you'll find yourself winning at the end of the year. You know, are you happy with those changes?
Yeah, it's good. It's good to have a full year. The cut was, had its perks, but I think, it obviously didn't get as much attention as what they wanted. So, it kind of did a full circle. And they kind of do that. They go on a couple of year cycles, change it back. But, I think they had to try. They had to try something because otherwise, if they kept it the same, it would just be stale and everyone would get over it. So
we spoke about that in a previous podcast. I actually love that they tried. And it's actually admirable that they have come out, not in their exact words, but they've said, we tried, perhaps didn't work. I think the consensus was that most people probably don't like it. They like the previous structure, which we're going back to.
Yeah.
So would you agree? Like, what's the feel on the tour? Like, is people like...
Yeah, I mean, everyone hates the cut. It sucks, it's hindering athletes to, make money. And it really leverages on sponsors. They can take advantage of that because they go, all right, we'll give you this much until the cut.
Yep.
And then we can change, this contract if you fall on or if you fall off or stay on.
Oh, really? So they can...
Yeah, they can just leverage it, and it sucks because the only person that's getting hindered is the athlete more than anyone else.
For sure.
Now that it's on for a full year, helps us a lot.
Well, the brands also sort of can't lose there because they go, all right, we'll pay you this much for 6 months, and then beautiful if you fall off.
Exactly,
we cut our losses, we cut your pay, or we get rid of you, or if you make it, you're probably returning on your investment to us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Is the cut a catalyst for people like John and Taddy and Steph, like saying no to the tour, or is that completely separate? Am I way off?
Maybe, probably not. I don't know. It's hard to say. But
But because the reason I asked, that shit's
stress.
never happened before. You go back to the Mick Parko era, no one was going, I'm just going to walk away.
Yeah.
To my knowledge.
Yeah.
No one was going to be like, hey, this has been great, but I'm out. People retire, obviously, but I don't recall, comment section might blow up if we post this, but did anyone really just go voluntarily, I'm off?
Well,
Julian
cut themselves.
Julian did. He
Julian
just
did?
retired.
Yeah. But had he already fallen off? Had he?
Nah, he was still on.
Right.
He fell off. Yeah.
No, retirement, because these guys haven't really come out and said, I'm retiring.
No. Yeah.
They're kind of saying, I'm having a break.
Yeah.
It's like a relationship. It's I don't know, can you even have a break without, you either, in my opinion, you're in or you're out.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
And as surfers rep, which is a position you've taken on,
This is fucking, do you guys know that no one knows this shit?
What?
Surfers rep thing?
That I know what?
Do you know that the rest of the world has no idea about this kind of stuff?
Really? Yeah, I don't know.
Is this secret? Is this...
No.
secret society?
I think so. No.
Well, you are the surfers rep.
I
You're
am
one.
surfers rep, yeah.
What's
one
the
of them,
surfers
or-
rep?
It's just like a person who is like the middleman in between, the WSL that we're pretty much just communicating what the WSL tell us.
I learnt this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Finley did. When did you learn of this news?
I knew they always had. They Ace Buchan used to do it.
Yeah,
I
he used to do
think,
it,
and
Connor Coffin used to
Connor
do it.
Coffin had a crack too. I did know a little bit about it, but
I was under a rock.
I just was wondering how much say do you have in, obviously you're the messenger between the WSL and the athletes and vice versa. How much say do you have in a decision like this when they get rid of the cut? Do you have any sway, or is
they're getting a lot better now? They're getting way more transparent with like from athlete to, like higher in WSL, they're getting a lot more transparent, which is pretty sick.
Yeah.
Like they're definitely listening. Like a couple of years ago, probably not. They were just probably too scared. They're so scared of like telling us anything that is going to get leaked to Stab and this and that. So
right.
They're getting better, and they're like their trust is getting way better towards us. That we're not the people that are telling Stab and leaking it.
It's us.
That's us. Yes.
So they're getting way better at it. Our relationships are getting way stronger, and they're definitely listening to what we, how we want the tour to look like.
Sure.
But then also, they've got qualms and ROIs, and they need to hit in order for them to be satisfied as well. So he's got to meet in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's just being that type of person that's like a bit more open instead of like, this is what we want and this is how we're going to have it and win it now kind of thing, because that shit never works.
So you wake up early in the morning and everyone goes to the event site. You're the surface rep. What's your procedure? What is expected of you?
It's more just like listening to what athletes have to say about conditions and, and then talking to the directors that are making the calls to see what they think, and then relaying that information to, we got like a surface group chat that, we relay information onto there, and then just kind of like, listening to what people have to say, forecasts, this and that, going back and forth with them, because they freak out about needing to run heats when it's bad and shit like that.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of being a middleman.
There you go.
Is it worth it?
Yeah, it's fun.
Do people take it out on
you were there at Bells, and that was pretty frustrating.
That was funny dynamic.
That was kind of one of the more frustrating times I've ever had, at that role. But apart from that, it's pretty good.
What made it frustrating?
Just because the waves it was a tricky forecast, and they were really keen to run heats, and there was no waves in order to run heats. And they do that a bit. They get a bit stressed and kind of go, we need to run heats now because the forecast is changing and this and that.
Yeah.
So then it's our job to kind of put our foot down and go, this is what we look at. This is what the forecast looks like. I think you need to like hold your ground and chill out.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was a lot of back and forth during Bells.
It's all right. You have the final say anyway, don't you? You can make the call. Right, we've kind of covered everything we needed to cover. We've got a few questions.
Hit me.
We'll go... Zach, have you got the questions up, or is it just me on my computer?
I've got nothing.
You've got nothing. Right,
I've got one last one from me first, though.
Do you want to finish with that? Is that a good one to finish on?
I'll finish with that.
All right.
So,
well, no, we're not. I've got to go through these. Do you want me to do mine first?
No, I'll do mine quick, and then we'll go through the listener ones. We're super organised here. Super organised. You're the commissioner of the WSL.
Yeah.
As of 2026, what are you going to do? What's your changes? What are you keeping? What are you changing? What needs to go?
I think where the tour is at the moment is sick. I think 2026, the roster looks mental. They've got the whole, the trialing, the no losers. Everyone loses from the first round. There's no second chance, which is kind of daunting. I'd probably get rid of that and just go back to what it was, so everyone gets two chances.
Yep.
You get a fucking warm up at least.
Yeah, just for all the rookies and stuff, it's pretty daunting to go to a new place and just go straight into it, and all of a sudden, you could lose and go home straight away.
Mm-hmm.
So probably that. But then apart from that, I think the tour schedule next year looks great.
You're missing one answer I really need.
And only run in good waves.
Close. And what are good waves? What direction do they go?
He wants another
heaps
left.
of lefts. Yeah,
Thank
for
fuck.
sure.
Is that... Come on. I've spoken about it
I
till the
complain about it all
fucking
the time.
cows come home.
Yeah.
Is anyone listening, Connor?
No, obviously not, because we go right 90% of the time.
Pavones.
Yeah, I don't know.
G-Land.
I don't
Just
know
wait
what
for
the
a
deal
good...
is. Well, we talk about it every year, but they still seem to just go back to the
It sounds
same
like they
ways.
agree, but they just turn a blind eye or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It must be hard logistically or something. I don't know, Raglan.
But we went
Anyway,
to G-Land
G-Land.
before.
Yeah.
We've been there, so we can do it again. We just
Yeah.
got... I feel like if you got good waves there and it was pumping, it would probably still be there.
Mm.
We got... I guess if it's small, cloud breaks rippable.
Yeah.
But say you're like, if you look at the calendar and you go, I want to show someone this air reverse I've been fucking working on. Where the fuck are you doing it? Chopes.
Pipe on the end section. Yeah. But
Like, that's what I mean. Like,
it sucks though because I haven't gone left in ages. I really like going left.
You goofy footers.
even if it was 60-40, that's fine.
Yeah.
70-30, fine.
It's just a bummer
We've
that
got like
every
fucking done.
every left is a barrel.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like,
So,
there's
yeah.
obviously lefts, but like
Yeah, we'll get there eventually. But yeah, more lefts for sure.
Raglan, pub insides.
Ulus.
Pub
Ulus
Shore.
is cool.
Ulus is good.
Yeah, I think that's a
That's-
pretty good answer to
that's-
that
yeah,
question
that's-
anyway. Though. Look, you don't have to. Again, we've taken about. What are we on? We're about 2 hours. This is our longest podcast by quite some time.
You've been
What time
divorced.
is it?
It's. I've seen Steph's
Fuck,
messaged
This will
you.
be good.
So I'm just gonna. You can just quick fire these. You don't have to go into too
for
much
it, yeah.
detail. All right. So Cam McDougall, he's a frequent listener. Goofy
yeah,
foot
okay.
up from Sunny Coast. Zach sponsors him.
Nice.
He rips.
So that's good.
Steph's good. He's asked Karamis or Margie's on the CT.
Karamis.
I feel like it's yeah.
Sure. Karamis
Karamis
is the sickest wave.
Muggy sucks, right?
It's actually not that bad of a wave. Like it's, but yeah,
It's
I'd
because
way
you
rather
rip there,
choose
mate. That's
Karamis.
why you get
Karamis is sick.
All right, Karamis. I think I feel like I could have answered that one before Connor even got here. More rorted than sorted said, "Why didn't you pick me up when I was hitchhiking in El Salvador?"
Do you know who that is?
No,
That's amazing.
Is someone from around? Is a guy around here?
No way.
Yeah, he reckons you blanked him,
because hitchhikers freak me out.
and especially
You
in El
never know.
Salvador
Yeah,
as well.
You never know. They could get
Yeah.
kidnapped or something.
For sure.
Yeah. Sorry, bub.
He does that frequently.
I'll
I've
do it
been
again.
hitchhiking all the time in Lennox Head, and
I'd do it
Connor
again
never picks me
if I
up.
drove past you in El Salvador anyway.
I'd do it if I drove
Sorry,
past you
bruv.
in Lennox. I'm not
Tell
picking
you
anyone
it's
up.
awkward when you drive past a hitchhiker. You look in the revision mirror and you've got like 9 seats available,
yeah.
and you go, "No,
They can
thanks."
just tell that your passenger seat's wide open.
Yeah.
Nah, that's one thing I'll never do. I
sorry,
will never
bruv.
do that.
Yeah.
Owen Milne, will you ride the Oki board that you won at the Outer Body Golf Day?
Fuck, it's still hanging. It's standing in my living room, just shining.
Is it a Raging
I've got to
Bull?
wax it up. Yeah, Raging Bull.
Yep.
6.0. It's kind of my dimensions. I probably should throw it in the water, but it's got Oki's signature on it, and it'll wash away.
I just get it back
Clear
for you.
coat it.
That's fun.
Yeah,
A bit of clear coat on it.
but the whole demeanor of that day was great. I can't just wash it away.
Yeah, no, fair.
Put wax on it.
Fair enough. Who out of the local crew at Cronulla inspired you the most? That's from Throb Surfboards.
Who inspired me the most? Like around my era, it was like Kirk Flintoff. Oki obviously, but he was kind of gone when I was kind of coming up. Guy named Joey Sear, Blake Johnson, guys like that. They were all kind of in my era of like who I looked up to. So yeah, those guys.
Keenan Crisp, favourite heat you've surfed?
Favorite heat I've surfed.
Levi Board
Favourite
Riders
heat I've
February
surfed. To be
round.
honest, favorite heat I surfed probably it was 2022, the first year I got back on, and it was the first round at Pipe, and it was like as good as it gets, and I got a couple like waves that I thought I'd never get at Pipe ever in my life.
Yeah,
So,
I remember
probably
that.
that.
That
Yeah.
was skits. Yeah,
Couple of stand
fair.
tools.
Yeah,
Couple-
just like it was pretty sick.
And then Harry O'Brien, we had to modify this question because
I
it
reckon
was.
you run
Here we
the,
go.
No, I'm
the
not.
non-modified.
I'm not. So it's actually a good question if you modify it.
Yeah.
You have to get rid of the other crap that was there. So you can go anywhere in the world, take 5 people with you on a surf trip.
Yeah.
Where are you going? Who are you taking?
Where am I going?
Honestly, if you don't choose us, that's fine. We
Yeah.
get it.
We're okay.
Where
It's
am I
fine.
going? I'm going to I'm going to Cloudbreak because that wave is just the best.
Yeah.
Who am I taking? I'll probably take you, Zach.
Thanks,
Because we
mate.
love going left together.
Because I've already packed me
I
fucking
wouldn't
board
take
bag.
I wouldn't take FJ because he hates going left.
I'd be crabbing my way.
I'd
in.
take Zach. I'd take Rob Machado, Bobby Martinez.
I'm no longer coming.
I'd go Arcal. We're going only goofy footers.
Yeah, goofy footers for sure.
And we'd finish off with my mate Blake Johnson.
I was going to say BJ.
Yeah. Yeah.
Solid.
So,
I would be a good one to take because you could just sit off the end and cook me. But,
no, they only goofy footers.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Finley, read the room. You're not coming.
That's all right. That's all right. I'll sit that one out. Dude, thanks so much for coming on. It's been
anytime, lads.
It's been
that was
a hoot. Loved every bit of this. Zach, you got anything? He generally has something smart to sign off
Here we
with.
go, yeah.
You got anything for us?
Just the fact that I thought dinner would be done by now and it hasn't been started. So I feel like we robbed him of his time, promised the chicken dinner, it's not done.
Oh, yeah. Just putting it out there into the airwaves. We could end up at Macca's here. Connor, what's your Macca's order?
I actually got Macca's on the way home from Margie's to Perth the other day. I got a quarter pounder. Yeah, I'm going
Take the
quarter
fucking
pounder.
Big Mac on your dog.
Nah, I'm a quarter pounder guy. I love a quarter pounder.
Just a quarter pounder on its own.
Large quarter pounder meal. What else did I get? Oh, and I got a McSpicy. That thing's pretty good actually.
So you got another burger.
Yeah, I was starving.
There you go. So everyone,
Hit us with yours, Finley, or do we not have enough time to go through your order?
no, I'm pretty smart, mate. I get it's called a mega meal.
It's not on the menu. It's like one of them side secret ones that it's only for locals.
Oh, you got to have the app and be on like level 15 or some shit.
You like scan your card as you go by.
Welcome back, Finley. You are now a platinum member.
Yeah. Mega meal. You get Big Mac or a quarter. You'd actually like, isn't it? So you can get Big Mac or a quarter pounder. I'm pretty sure. You get a cheesy, little cheeseburger, 3 nuggets, and a large drink and a large.
For how much?
It's like $16.
Wow.
I feel like he's only told us half the meal.
And a sundae and a McFlurry. Yeah.
It's incredible. But honestly,
classic.
dude, thanks so much for coming on. We'll definitely
good.
be getting you back on probably before then as well. But when you clock your first win, we want the exclusive content out of your first win. We want you on the podcast. So
100%.
Let's
Count
do it.
me in.
Beautiful.
Cheers, boys.
And
Thanks
you
so
can
much.
sleep here when you get divorced later tonight.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And thanks everyone for listening. Once again, Zach, big pink writing at the top of the document.
We forget every time.
If everyone, thank you so much for doing it already. But if you could follow the Largo Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, like and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever you listen on. We're pretty well at our 1,000 follower goal. And Zach, I don't know, I could be putting this in writing here. Zach was hinting at potentially a giveaway at the 1,000 follower mark.
I've got something else.
Wow.
Okay, I've got something else.
I think we're at 960 followers.
Yeah.
For the next 40 followers, Connor will write you a love letter in the DMs.
And Zach will sing you a song.
Yeah.
We'll insert that here.
Well, no, we will because we've got one from before the pod.
Fuck.
But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Make sure to chuck us a follow, and yeah, stay tuned for maybe a giveaway at 1,000 followers. We'll let you know about that on the Instagram.
Maybe.
But no, we're gonna have to now. Thank you.
Bye.